Me as a veteran for 21 years, if you hold up an American flag, everybody knows what the it is. We are the best of the best. So when we first got to Afghanistan, dude, they wouldn't even shoot at the throwing boxes because they know when you shot at us, we're coming right for you.
That vibe shifts though.
But that vibe shifts, yep.
Did you lose some of the guys on your team too?
Sean Farrell, and he was on my truck, and I remember I called him Potter. I said, damn, Sean, you white. Dude, I ain't never seen nobody this white. I was like, where the hell are you from? He's like, I'm from New York, Chief. I was like, good Lord, dude, I'm calling you Powder. You ever seen the movie Powder? He's like, no, I don't think I've seen it. I remember he ended up getting shot and killed. I remember I pulled him out of the truck, and he smiled. His eyes rolled. He was gone. And then some of the things I've survived and some of the things I've seen.
Were you in Operation Iraqi Freedom?
Yeah. Iraq, totally different war. We said there was weapons of mass destruction there, and we hit this compound. And inside that building, I won't ever forget it. There were cells on one side of the wall, dude. There was bird cages everywhere, dead birds, dead rats, and rat cages everywhere in that room. It was a laboratory. And all down on that bottom thing, there was...
Hey guys, if you're not subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and hit that like button on the video. And if you don't have time to watch this episode right now, no problem, but I'd really appreciate it if you would save it to your watch later playlist. Finally, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below. Thank you. First get down there though, those months before you're out doing patrols and stuff, are you getting handed off through the various chains of intel to, or having guys handed to you, I should say, that are going to be your interpreters and are going to be in the field with you, or did you have to go out and develop those people?
For the most part, the first couple of years of the war, dude, you develop that stuff. Every now and then, the three-letter agencies, they might throw you a little bone. They might, like, here, dude, we've been working with this guy. He knows the area.
Yeah.
Then you get with that guy. And then that guy, he has a reputation too. So he's like, hey, I work with the CIA. I can work with these guys. And then you just tell the guy, like, look, dude, you screw me. This is what's going to happen. Because we know your family. We know where you live. But this is what we're trying to accomplish. And then if you recruit the guy, not recruit him, but if you're using the guy for the right reasons, he's using you for the right reasons, you're both getting used.
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, you got yours, I got mine. We go home happy. Call me up when you're lonely.
So you're going out, the first times you're going out into the field, you're kind of going out blind and you're trying to find these people.
You're blind. You're looking at maps. You're looking at maps and you're just driving.
And there's multiple languages across the country as well. So like, it's not like you have them all covered in your group.
No. For the most part, I spoke Arabic.
You did?
But I speak modern and standard Arabic, which is totally different dialect than anywhere I learned in Afghanistan. Because I want to say there's like 90 dialects of Arabic.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So
it's a lot.
It is. It's a ton. And the Shiites are not going to speak what the Muslims speak over here, or the Shiites speak over here. So you might live 2 blocks up the street, and I can't even communicate with you.
Yeah.
Because it's all religious and all that crap based.
So what was the first time? I mean, take me there. What was the first time where, I don't know where you are, if you're in a town or you come across someone where you build a relationship, and how did it happen?
So basically what we would do is we would ride these different villages, and you would come in, you would talk, and it's pretty funny that you always find, no matter where you go in the world, this I know we got the best country. No matter where you go, somebody speak a little bit of English. No matter where I've been, dude. I don't care where I go. Yeah. I've been in the middle of nowhere. And like, you speak English, they're like, no, wait. And you make a few phone calls, dude, you see a little moped coming up. Guy be like, hey, how are you? Like, hey, you learn English? Oh, I went to school in Pakistan. I went to Boston one time. You're like, really? Shit, let's talk.
Went to Boston one time.
Yeah, I went to Boston one time.
That's not where I'd learn English.
Exactly. And then you're like, what did you go to Boston for, first off,
I went to fucking South.
I think the fucking South. Yeah. And then I go, he's wicked smart. And then you just start talking to him. And then before you know it, you got not really an interpreter, but you got somebody that can kind of close the gap. And then you just start talking like, hey, any bad guys around here? And it's crazy because at first beginning of the war, nobody wanted to say nothing. They'd be like, no, this place is no bad guys here. Because again, like I was explaining to him when we were eating, Afghanistan is a rock and a hard place, man. And it took me 3 or 4 years to realize that, because I was the type, if they shot at us, you knew they were here. Why didn't you tell us?
Yeah.
Especially if one of my guys got hurt, dude, or, worse, like Dave got blown up in 2004, September 23rd. And his last name's Glenn, so he's like my little brother. They call us Ebony and Ivory. Lost both legs, left testicle, ring finger, some teeth out of his mouth, a retina got messed up, just all jacked up, right? But he lived, he's alive. And so I lost my shit, came unglued. Like, hey, you motherfucker knew we were here to help you. You let us drop our IED and didn't even try to stop it. So long story short, you try to show the people the compassion, but like I was telling him, they're stuck in a rock and a hard place because we're the Americans, we got ROEs. They know, and they know this shit. They know the ROE better than we do. they know the Americans are just not going to start killing us. You know, I might smack a guy around, as my dad would say. I ain't going to hit a woman, but I might shake him. So I might shake a guy a little bit, shake him up a little bit. But he knows for the most part, the guy's not going to hurt me. He's an American. But if that guy tells me anything, and the Taliban are watching, because everybody's got ears around there, somebody knows the Taliban, they're going to tell him, or the Al-Qaeda, whoever, he knows he's either going to get his ass whooped, he's going to die, or his family's going to die, some member. So he's caught between that. I can't tell this guy anything. But if I don't tell this guy anything, they're not going to beat me.
Right.
But they still can hurt my family because they don't care. So you have to be smart about, you have to be very wittingly about how do I get information out of this guy? Because a lot of times he won't talk to me. So I've literally grabbed guys, dude, and shook them and be like, you tell him right now, da-da-da, he going to tell him I hurt him. And my interpreter be like, I'm going to hurt him. But my interpreter already done told me, hey, Johnny, this guy talked to us. And then what you do is you play the front in front of everybody. So the guy don't say nothing. Then the interpreter tells him, like, hey, we'll come back and see you at midnight, 1 o'clock this morning.
Right. So it looks like
you're
constantly playing a game because you don't know.
It's cat and mouse, man. It's chess.
Yeah.
Like, it's that whole place, dude, and it took me 3-4 years to learn that because I was the type, if you shot at us, violence of action. If you hurt one of my guys, it's extreme violence of action.
Yeah.
Like, the violent action is going to escalate with whatever the situation is.
Yeah, but to your point, it's so complicated because there's such a culture of fear and pressure over there. And so, you know, it's got to be tough reading, though, who's like a true believer.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some people who be standing there like, oh, innocently, but they are
They're
back
fighting
in the
at
Taliban.
And they're fighting at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just, for the most part, I was telling him earlier, for me, what I would look for in my guys, we always wanted that guy that had a family, had kids. He had something to lose more than just his belief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want a young guy that, you know, I can easily influence or tell him, hey, dude, I'll give you 72 versions and 10 grand. And he's going to go make it happen. You know what I mean? But if I got that guy that's got a family and he's telling me, like, hey, I'd like to see my kid go to college one day. Well, where you want him to go to college at? I would love for him to go to college in America. Well, where? There's a ton of colleges. Well, New Jersey. First thing I'm doing is getting on the phone. I'm telling somebody, hey, dude, send me some New Jersey colleges. I don't care what colleges they are. Send me some pamphlets ASAP. And then I'm meeting with that guy, and we're talking just like we're talking right now. I'm like, hey, oh, yeah, by the way, a buddy of mine just sent me these. This is where your wife, this is where your daughter could go to college at. This is how many colleges are just on the south side of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he's looking at, and that is possible. And the only way we get there is we work together. And I used to tell them straight up front, just like I tell people all the time. Like me, my life, and I used to tell this, dude, I went to KLEs where they wanted to kick me out at first.
KLEs?
The key leader engagements.
Oh.
Because I'd speak and I'd tell my interpreter, I'm like, you say exactly what I'm saying. And I point out, like, I don't give a fuck about you. 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 Who I do care about is those kids running around the streets. Because I'm not going to change none of your opinions in here and how you think. And I would tell them that straight up front. I go, but those kids out there, they're innocent. They have nothing left but them, but the life ahead of them.
Did that ever get through to some of them?
Some of them it did, man. The ones that had younger kids or the ones that had kids or saw their kids that went to college in Pakistan or went to Ukraine or went to Europe somewhere and went to college, those are the ones that it got through quick because they saw the life that their kids were living as opposed to how they were living. And they'd be like, well, how can we help? But then you always get them. It's just like where I grew up. You get the old school, or we call them old heads. That dude, they're stuck in their ways. You know what I mean? Like the old pimps. He's still pimping in the old pimp way. Like,
that's right.
You know, you meet more women on Instagram, bro. Nah, man, I'm going to go down to the local Walmart now and pick up Big Booty Judy. Like, nah, dude, like, you don't do that shit no more. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's old, dude. They still driving the same old car, you know? So those guys are stuck in their ways. And they're going to die in their ways. And a lot of times, dude, like over there, like, be honest with you, like, you know, we never murdered anybody, but there's a few times where I'm like, you know, if we just kill that KLE guy, if we kill that village sure right there, we'll be fine. We just need to get rid of him.
That easy? You think it would be that easy?
It'd be that easy because he has that much influence. It's like we were saying earlier, when you've been raised to a certain way your whole life, that's all you know. And that guy carries more weight than the Quran because he's there. So if you get rid of him, now it might be a little chaos at first because people are like, oh my God, who's in charge? Well, he's got a predecessor. And guess what? The predecessor is usually a little younger. He sees how technology works, just like me and my podcast. When my daughter first came, she's like, Daddy, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? No, Daddy, you got to order this, and this. I'm like, good Lord, you see how expensive that is? Why can't we just do it with the phone? She's like, no, Daddy, you can't do that. So then I had to get all this gear. And then I get it, and guess what? I can't even work it. I don't know how to turn it on. Because I'm an anti-technology. I'm past that, not past, but I'm not as, tech savvy as my kids are, or their kids are going to be. So it's like, so it's the same way over there. If you can get rid of, and I'm not saying that old way is wrong, you keep the culture, you keep the values, you keep the history.
But if the old way is corrupt, or
exactly, and that's exactly what it is, dude. And we know that, we see it. It's like, hey, dude, we know Afghans came here last night. We know it. Or we know Taliban came here last night, and we know you're helping them. And I used to tell them, and I can't blame you. You got a wife and the kids. I cannot blame you. But the only way this is going to stop is you tell me when they're coming. Let my guys sleep in your house, and we will stop all that.
How do you, when you're looking at a crowd of people, though, like when you're talking with one of these guys who speaks a little bit of English, you can relate there because you're speaking the same language. But you're watching everyone else around, too, to try to get a beat, and none of these people speak your language. So are you just, it's hard for me to like picture that, because when I read body language, I'm usually doing it in a scenario where, we're all native speakers and there's words going on too. But like when you're watching people who you don't know what they're saying or what they're thinking, because they're thinking in a different language than you, what are you looking for?
So what I do is I key off of that village elder, right? Say you're my interpreter. Okay. And I'm looking at you and I'm telling you to tell him something. And you telling him, right? Say I tell you, hey, and my interpreters, one thing about our interpreters, dude, they say exactly what we say. Even though it makes sense, I used to tell my interpreter, word for word, you tell me exactly what I'm saying. And I remember asking my interpreter one time, can you say the word motherfucker Afghan? And he's like, Johnny, be more like this. I said, no, that don't sound good. I said, the word motherfucker's got to have a ring to it.
Of the mother.
Exactly. The mother. Put it in reverse. And so what ended up happening was, what I do is I'll tell my interpreter to say something. And then once he starts talking, he talks loud enough. And our interpreters know, like I'm telling you, like he knows, like you say it loud enough because we've talked, rehearsed, and told him, this is what I want you to do. So what I would tell you to do is I'd be like, Julian, you tell him right now, I care more about what his kids are going to be like when they grow up and be his age. I don't give a fuck about him. When you look at him and you talk to him, you saying that, I'm not even looking for the guy he's talking to. I'm looking around in that crowd and I'm looking for that one guy that's doing this. He's getting what I'm saying. He is getting it.
So you're looking for the positive reaction.
I'm looking for that reaction where I want my kids to be able to live freely and not, under a tyrant. I want them to be free and have a good life.
Yes.
And then I'll ask them, like, hey, how long have you been living in this village? Has this village changed at all? Do you guys have a school? And when you start saying shit like, do you have a school? Would you like a school? You see that one guy back there or girl back there looking up like.
Yeah.
And then you say, hold on. Hey, do me a favor. Ask that guy what he thinks about a school. And then if that guy says, I don't think a school will be a bad thing, if he said in their language, I know for a fact, dude, you might not be on the same sheet of music I am, but we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I can get you alone, away from the rest of these people, where nobody can judge you, and tell them that you're talking to us, we're good to go. And that's my foot in the door. And then once I get him, guess what? He got likenesses, or he's got the same moral values that his friend right next to him, and a friend right next to him. Hey, dude, I got 4 or 5 guys feel the same way. They're just not going to say anything because they know the repercussions.
Yeah.
All right, well, I tell you what, do y'all ever go to Kandahar? Do you ever go to Kabul? Do you ever go to Bagram? Sometimes. Well, I will pay for your gas to get to Bagram. Let me know what day you're coming so we can talk. Or you just meet him somewhere where he tell you he can meet at. Now I go talk to this guy. I get this guy on the same sheet of music, man. And then, at the end of the day, most parents, they just want their kids to have a better life than what they had.
Yeah.
That's it. That's 90% of Americans. They just want their kids, their loved ones, to live better than what they live. That's what my dad wanted. His dad before him wanted. That's what I want.
So would you guys, I'm really specifically talking about the first couple of years there, would you guys just kind of go out to any one of these tens of thousands of villages, basically, that exist across the country, and do this same exact thing to almost try to weed out who you could recruit?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the job.
Yeah. It's just like with, it's just like say, I relate it to inner city drugs. If you get an undercover agent, or if you get a narc, or you get somebody that's an informant and he's undercover, you go to the next city, that guy's usually going to tell you who to go talk to.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got a guy you can go talk to. Go talk to Julian. He'll talk to you. Now you go talk to him. Now Julian's going to tell him, hey, man, this is where they sell them from. East Block, West Block, South Block. Same over there, man. You doing the same thing. It's the same thing. I'm talking to this guy. He's going to put me in contact with another guy on the same sheet of music. Now, before you know it, I've got a network of guys built around me.
Yes.
Now I can expand that white space. Now all I got to do is show this guy what we're doing is actually positive for you. And once they see that, dude, now they start recruiting for you. Now you
they
just
start doing it without you.
Yeah, they start recruiting for you.
Now, how do you trust what they're bringing in too? Because now it's not you doing it.
Well, you have to be smart about it. So what I would do is like, where's this guy from? They tell you where he's from. Who's his family? How are you in bed with him? Oh, I know him because he married my sister. Okay, he married your sister. Cool. Because this guy screws me over. Then not only are you going to get it, your sister's going to get it. Now you kind of like, and it's a blanket threat to the guy, but he don't know that. You know what I mean? And now, for the most part, you can tell, dude, they're bringing in like-minded guys. And then that's when you start setting up your network. As
you get like intel though from these guys, because that's what you're doing. You're setting up an intel network to understand what's going on the ground. What was the procedure? Are you sharing this internally with your commander and then it goes where it goes? Or are you doing interagency type stuff?
Both. It depends on what the intel is. Now for us, if it's life, eyesight, or limb, life or eyesight, you're sending that out wide. That's blasted. But if I got a guy that's telling me like, hey, Johnny, I know where this IED maker's working at. I know where he lives at. I know this, that, and other. I'm sending that out to everybody, and I'm asking the other agencies, asking the other teams, hey, anybody in this area, somebody in this area that can verify this? Then you start bouncing intel off each other. Because they're pretty smart. Because I tell you what, I had one guy doing. I had one guy working in one area of Afghanistan, and that motherfucker would drive a day away to another area of Afghanistan where some other SF guys were and reporting almost the same shit to them. And me and him started reading our reports. I'm like, hey, dude, you getting the same info I'm getting. Well, it's got to be true. I'm like, okay, well, who's your guy?
Guy's driving across the country.
He's smart, dude. And we figured that out just by, his phone.
Yeah.
Phone's pinging. Like, damn, dude, this guy was just here. Like, hey, run this number for me.
Hey, he's hustling for that money.
And he was hustling, which is a plus for me.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't look at it like most people. Most people look, he's playing both sides. No, I look at it like this dude a hustle.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're a hustle.
Trust but verify.
Check this out. Look, dude, you're a hustle. Why are you going to hustle me when you can make more money hustling to get me to the guys I need to get to?
Yeah.
So why don't we do this? And the guy's like, oh, this is good. I was like, you should have told me that from the beginning with. Shit, dude, like, I'm on your side, bro.
Yeah.
And now, now he's doing things I need him to do. But now, what he's told me is he's got, he can go into that area right there where my other guys are.
Yeah.
So now you tell me, how the hell are you moving freely from the Maroof Valley all the way over to Shaka Khan Valley or whatever? How are you doing that? Because you should have got your ass beheaded or got fucked up. How are you doing that? And he goes, oh, I got a cousin there. Oh, really? So what do your cousin do? Now I'm growing my network through him. And it's just, people are people, man. Just like when you go to Boone, if I don't know somebody in Boone that I'll know somebody that knows somebody. And now I put that link matrix together, and then before you know it, we done started us a little small militia in Boone.
And that's the thing. You're also constantly high-level problem solving because you're in a war situation. It's not regular society or something like that. So this is all you're thinking about. It's all they're thinking about too. So it's constantly high stakes. Yeah. For this scenario of like building a size of a network, it kind of couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better at all. Yeah. And then before you know it, I got a map up and I'm like, all right, this guy right here is an ID maker. All right, this guy right here is a farmer. He's hauling fertilizer for this ID maker, but I don't know who this ID maker is. But I got another guy over here telling me he's the one selling the fuel to this guy that's delivering the damn fertilizer to the ID maker. Okay, so now I got to get this fuel guy because this guy don't want to give up the ID maker because the ID maker going to blow his house up. So now how do I get through this guy, by with and through this guy, to this fuel guy to make sure, look here, dude, when I tell you he's going to disappear, you ain't got to worry about the ID maker. But this is what I need. Not only do I need who's making the IDs, I need to know what components he's making it from, where they're coming from out of Pakistan, when they're coming out of Pakistan. Not saying they're coming out of Pakistan, but if they are, then that's what I need to know. When they're coming through, who's shipping them, what trucks are carrying them. So now it just grows, dude. And now before you go in there, I'm just going to go cut the head off of the snake. All they're going to do is replace the ID maker. Just like if you got sick tomorrow, he can run everything in this podcast because he's been doing it. Yeah. Anybody in that ID making cell can run that ID making cell. But guess what? If I can cut off your supply line of where that's coming from, I can cut off where you're getting all the supplies from, then I can hinder your operations for a good little while. I mean, and that might give me time to not maybe turn you, probably not. If you're a hardcore ID maker, probably gonna be hard to turn you. But I can at least let you know, hey, dude, let me tell you something right now. I know where you are. I'm going to send you a picture real quick, all right? Take this and give that to the guy tomorrow. And I'm going to get a satellite image of his house, his wife walking out getting water at the creek, and his kids out playing in the yard.
I know what else he's thinking of.
And then I'm be like, hey, so check this out, dude. Like, here's the deal. I'm the one turning off all that. So, you know what I mean? So, and at that point, you just kind of, it's a cat and mouse game, man. And if people
your shooter motherfucker, your doctor motherfucker, and your detective motherfucker.
You try to be.
You got a lot of roles.
Jack of all trades, man. Yeah. That's what I tell people. When people talk shit about SF guys, because like, oh, them guys they're just, you know, they're handing out food and, nah, dude. If people only knew what I can do in a meeting of just handing out an MRE, it'd blow people's mind. Yeah. Not just me, but SF guys in general. What they can do handing out just one MRE, dude, could change a war, man. And it does. We did it in Afghanistan. We did it all the time.
What was I always think of this in eras with how it went, but obviously, you know, you were later in Iraq, but Iraq doesn't happen until March 2003 officially. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to look at the global war on terror in that whole era and see kind of the disastrous conclusions they came to in a lot of ways. But, you know, in doing that, you can kind of forget that the first year and a half there, when the focus was on Afghanistan, there was some massive success.
Oh yeah, it was.
You know, Afghanistan was a military success until we took our eye off the ball and went to Iraq. So, you know, as you're moving across the country throughout 2002 and into 2003, you know, are you seeing at this point like, oh, I think we're really getting rid of the Taliban? Like, was that?
Oh yeah, it did.
You thought that?
It felt like that. Yeah, it felt. And here's where I kind of think we went wrong, because I'm not a politician. I don't try to be. But where I think we went wrong with Afghanistan, I think we went wrong, because I'm speaking from on the ground. This is where I'm at on the ground. Where I was in Afghanistan, where I think we went wrong at was SF. We fucked up big time, and I'll tell you how we fucked up. We were in the game. We were in the Super Bowl. Every door we came to, Johnny Glenn was first that door. Rush Cotton was first that door. We're in those rooms fast. We're in those rooms furious. We're taking out the bad guys. We're doing that. And then 2012, 2013, 14, let's change this. Let's put the Afghan face on it. Let's let the Afghans do their own raids, plan their own missions, which they were, and they did a pretty decent job at it. But as soon as shit went to shit, or the shit hit the fan, they're looking back at us like, it's right here. Like, hey, Johnny, you can come storm this building? Well, shit, I guess I am, because bullets are flying. I'm not going to get killed. Like, get the hell out of the way. Yeah. Move to the back. Let's go do this. So in retrospect now, I can say we screwed that pooch. As SF guys, as operators, you know, CAG, all of us, we screwed that pooch in the fact that when we first went in that country, we should have went in that country to design them to, you know, stand on their own, sustain themselves.
It seems like, though, and this is just my read from all the people I've had in here who were in Afghanistan the same year as you were, it seems like something, as the resources got pulled and as they started to put, as you're putting there, like more emphasis on the Afghans taking the lead on things. It seems like in those years, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, two things happened. The Taliban was rising back up in strategic areas through fear, which is what they do. That's obviously like they're bad guys, and that's how they do things. But they also were able, in some cases, to literally change some hearts and minds, change some people back to the dark side, if you will. Like, well, this might be better than what the fuck we're dealing with. Why do you think that was?
I think it was, one, because Afghans start shitting right on the wall. We take a place, hold it, and leave. Taliban come right back in there. And you know what I'm saying when I come back in there? You see what the Americans are doing? They coming in, they leaving. They coming in, they're leaving. That's exactly what started happening. And then another thing we did was, in my opinion, you don't go into one man's country and tell them what to do. Yeah. So we went in Afghanistan, and like I said, I'm not a politician. I'm just telling you what I saw on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
On the ground, what I saw was we would go do a DA hit, right? We go hit a HVT, a high-value target. We hit that high-value target, and it could have been kill, capture, or whatever, right? Say we capture a guy. We had a couple that captured, put the guns down. We capture a guy, right? We bring that guy back. Instead of turning that guy over to the Afghans and letting them deal with the guy, we want to try to trial that guy like we were trialing like an O.J. Simpson or some shit. Like, no, dude, it is not the American judicial system. If we turn that guy over to the fucking Afghans and they kill him, then they kill him. It's their government. But what we try to do, in my opinion, we came there, we tried to set up trials. If we caught a guy, you release him. Then if you caught him again, he would go into confinement, or you go into puck under confinement, or whatever the hell it was. He would go in, you'd keep him for 30 days or whatever, like he was in jail, like he's back in the States. He's in jail for 30 days. Now he's got a trial date. Why the hell would that dude come to trial? Dude in Afghanistan. So to me, I feel like we struck out right there trying to set up a judicial system in a country that fears what they understand.
Yeah.
So if you get a bad guy and they want to kill him, by all means, you do what you want to do. And people say, "Oh yeah, but you're still."
It's their culture.
Yeah, but it's still culture. You're not promoting savages. They killing the bad guy. They're getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Getting him off the battlefield. It doesn't help if we try him and then put him back on the battlefield. Because now guess he's telling his buddies, "Hey, dude, the Americans catch you. They gonna put you in a box. They gonna lock you up. And guess what? They gonna feed you, and they won't even feed you pork. They won't even get them a 9 pork meal. They'll make sure it's not pork." It's like, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So when you start coming in the bar room, man, and you seeing guys you caught, you're catching the same guys once and twice. Like, all right, dude, now it's time for us to take matters in our own hand because we aren't fixing it. But all these brains, people that aren't on the ground and not getting the ground truth, their thinking is, and these are smart people up in, on the Beltway, they're thinking, hey, if we can get a judicial system where we can lock these people up, well, first off, Afghanistan ain't got a damn jail system. So let's just get rid of them. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say it, just get rid of them. They're going to be a detriment to society. Get rid of them. But we didn't. And so now that's easy for the Taliban to play that side.
It seems like we are, and we've seen this case study over and over again, we try to go everywhere and spread democracy.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes democracy isn't meant.
That's what I'm saying. People don't want it in
They
some
don't want it.
places.
Nope.
Not to say I don't think it's the best system. I do, but like you're dealing with places in many cases around the world that have thousands and thousands of years of history of something different.
Of fear. So guess what? And here's what I say. Just like Saddam Hussein. When Saddam Hussein died, dude, I'm like, we should have kept that motherfucking power.
Yeah, I understand.
Because he had people, you know what I mean? He had people in check, dude. Like, hey, bow down. They're like, okay, bow down. Hey, do what the master told us. You know what I mean? And it's the same way some of these countries go in. If you got, the way I look at it is, like I was just describing earlier, if I got a guy in that crowd that I know, I don't have to turn him all the way. I don't want him to be American. Be you. I don't want to ever turn you. But if I can get you kind of moving in the right direction of, hey, dude, we need education. We need systems. We need this. And then bring in some of these wicked brain people. Afghanistan is one of the most highly resourced natural resource places in the world.
Yeah.
Why not let's go over there instead of trying to set up a judicial system, set up a way where they sustain themselves. Because when I was in there in 14, 15, we were riding in the middle of nowhere, Tom, and I saw Chinese people all day long, everywhere.
Chinese people.
In Toyotas. And you know what they're looking for? Is it lapis, whatever it's called, a little blue, the little, shit. It's like a diamond, not a diamond. It's a natural resource they have
Lithium?
there. No, not lithium. It's
What was the?
look up lapis. Lapis, is that it? It's like a stone. It's a blue stone.
Okay.
And they sell it in jewelry stores here. There it is right there. There we go.
I'm unfamiliar with that.
That shit is everywhere, dude.
And you saw Chinese people in 14
Yeah,
and 15.
Yeah, they were there. Yeah, they going down the roads in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, holy shit, just shoot them all. What the hell going on?
Psychic abilities.
Wow.
But you can use it for so many things. So the point I'm trying to get at, instead of us trying to run a democracy, let's set them up. Let's go in there and let's help them build a damn factory where they can actually make this shit and create jobs.
Yeah, you can't, and that's the thing. You can lead the horse to the well, but
Can't
you
make
can't
him
make him
drink.
drink it.
Can't make them drink.
100%.
Can't make them drink.
I think we have a big case study in that. Like there was a podcast Joe Rogan did way back in the day for his show. I want to say this was like 2013, 2014 with that CIA guy, Mike Baker.
Mike Baker?
And I listened to it years later, like after the Afghanistan pullout. And Mike Baker play-by-played, almost down to the detail of like the helicopter that was going to look like Saigon, exactly how it was going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear something like that, like 7-8 years before it happened, from someone, a guy who's analyzing this on the ground, who's been there, knows what it is.
He's on the ground.
And I talk to more and more people, and they're like, yeah, a lot of us were saying it.
Yeah.
It's like you could see the writing on the wall a long time before, because it was like we were beating, this is just the way I take it, we were beating a dead horse with some of these same action items
Mhm.
that weren't working, and some people in
Mhm.
fucking offices in DC were like, "No, it'll work the 10th time
Mm.
we try it," and it doesn't.
Yeah. Look at the Russians when they went in there. They did the same thing. They tried to strong hand them. You're not going to strong hand them because they got the tactical advantage in that country, period.
Yeah,
And then second, okay, how do we just make the country a better place?
yeah.
Just something as simple as, like, dude, we opened up 2 or 3 schools while I was there. Phenomenal. I thought
That's
it was
so
great.
cool you did that.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. And dude, I'd write back home, tell people like the whole team was, hey, send us book bags, send us notebooks, send us paper, send us pencil. Dude, we have all kinds of shit. You take that to the school, you give it to the school like, hey, this is what we want you guys to have. What can we help you guys with? Because now, what in my eyes, that generation right there, my kids shouldn't have to fight that generation. Because one, they're getting smarter, and two, guess what? These Americans are helping get us education. These Americans are helping us get smarter. They're actually helping us in our day-to-day lives, not setting up a democracy, dude. It takes hundreds of years to set up a democracy. But if you want to start somewhere, start with the kids. Start small.
Yep.
Start where we can educate the women, educate the kids, then we can employ them. Because if we can't employ them, it's just like Mexicans, man. People are talking about everybody, the border is such a problem because there's no work there. And the people that are coming here, in my opinion, nobody's coming into America. I ain't say nobody. 98%, and I could be wrong, but I will say 98%, I stand by this, of the people that are crossing the border legally, they're coming here to work an innocent job, a job, and make innocent money to take care of their family back there.
Yes.
No doubt in my mind. They're trying to make a better life for their families. So why not just make it there? Same thing I was saying earlier.
You could
Make it
also you could also show them, like, Alessi, can we pull this up? 1960s Afghani women college. Like, did you ever like show them what it was not that long ago in Afghanistan before the Taliban?
Yeah, we talked about it. Oh yeah, I used to
Like,
talk to the elders all the time
It's
about
not
that.
like 300. Yeah, look at that fourth picture
Mhm.
right there.
You know
See?
that the Afghan scientists or astrologers or whatever they were some of the smartest ones in the world. We actually recruited them to go somewhere. There's a book I read.
We tend to do that.
Yeah, but they were talking about how smart these guys were. Like they invented all this shit.
Yeah.
But yet you go place there and there's not even running water, electricity. I'm like, what the hell?
That's fucking crazy. Like, these pictures look,
Yeah.
and there's similar pictures in like
Mhm.
Iran in
Yeah.
the 1970s. They
Yeah.
look fake just
Mhm.
based on what we know. But
Yeah.
this is 1.5, 2 generations
But
ago.
but you know what happened? Taliban, Al Qaeda, whoever you want to call it, they saw the empowerment of women coming.
Yes.
We embraced it, which is great.
Yes.
I got 2 daughters. We embraced that. They didn't embrace it.
No.
They were like, nope. A woman is supposed to be in the house making me tea and chai and birth women, birth
Right.
children. That's it. Birth children. That's all they wanted. And so they are stones behind. And the women that are smart enough to get out of there, they're getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
They're not staying there. Why would they? So instead of us doing things like empowering women and then getting those guys that are, and that's one thing I hated, dude. Every time we went somewhere, they'd be like, hey, we got a guy you could talk to. Who is it? Is a village elder. This guy's, 45, 50 years old. In the Afghan years, he's like 90. So you're looking at this guy, you're like, dude, you ain't gonna change, bro. Like the best thing for you is just me to, just put a quick one in you and make it quick for you and let you go on into the heavens. And then get this guy that's, 25, 30 years old. He's a little educated and he's looking to advance the country. Not himself, advance the country.
Yes.
And if we do that, man, you go back to 2002, 2003 when, 03, 04, 05, dude, we had put fear in Afghanistan. We did. They called our trucks the thorn boxes.
The thorn boxes.
The thorn boxes, because we had shit hanging all off our trucks.
Yeah.
And it looked like a big box. The GMV looked like a box.
Yeah.
And they said it was thorns coming off of it. So when we first got to Afghanistan, dude, they wouldn't even, I'd say after about a year or two, they wouldn't even shoot at the thorn boxes. And this is how smart and how savvy they were. If you were a regular army unit coming in Afghanistan doing a convoy, they light your ass up. The thorn boxes? No siree. Let us drive right the hell through because they know when you shot at us, we're coming right for you. We ain't running to go get back up. We ain't hunkering down. We're coming right towards that gunfire.
Mm.
And they used to talk about our Turks. You'd be like, oh, Johnny, they know it's a thorn box. They ain't going to do nothing. Yep.
So somewhere that vibe shifts, though.
But that vibe shifts. Yep.
When do you think that was?
If I had to guess, I would say 9-10, like you were saying earlier, 9-10, when the ROE started getting more, our ROE went from being an ROE to being like hey, the criminals are going to have more rights than the soldiers. Just like in the States. Criminals got more rights than cops.
Wait, ROE?
Rules of engagement.
Oh, all right.
So our ROE became more, it had to be, at one point, if I remember correctly, like 10, 11, or 12, or 13, you had to give a warning shot. Oh. Where it used to be, if you was driving your truck and a car's coming at you driving from you, you shot that cop up or shot that car up because that could be a V-bid. That could be a vehicle IED. What am I going to shoot a warning shot for if he's driving a vehicle?
Again, so easy for people sitting in an office in a suit to make a decision on how things should be optically.
But that for us, say you got a car in front of a car, they're following a car.
Yeah.
That's literally 2 seconds for that car to get up and run into us.
Yep.
You don't have time to say, let me shoot a warning shot at the road. No, dude, they're probably going to blow me up, but I'm peppering that windshield, and I'm trying to kill everything in there right now. I'm putting lights out, bullets through the head, hopefully just, it centralizes the nervous system, foot comes off the gas, car slows down, we keep dropping.
Right. And so when you're doing this, though, regularly, where you can do things like that because the ROE is good, you can take more bad guys off the street. You can limit the spread. But when you can't do that, you enable the spread.
That's exactly what you're doing. I'll tell you what, the best way to put it for people watching the podcast don't know any better, look at inner city drugs. Same thing. It's the same concept. Cops know who are selling drugs. It ain't no damn secret. Just ask old mama down the street, mama dear down the street. She know who's selling the drugs. Yeah. You know the house they sell them out of. But guess what? You can't touch them. You know the 10 people on the street that are selling the drugs. Why? Because you're trying to build that case. And if you take them off the streets, guess what? The jails fill up. He hire more runners to run his drugs. And then when you do finally, we're going to put him in jail for 20 years, he got a predecessor coming right behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got to eliminate all that. You know what I mean? You got to, I hate to say it, it's like you got to take the gloves off and you just got to get dirty. You mean like.
Well, that's what we did at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And look at how that place was at the beginning, dude. Like that place was moving towards not really democracy, but we were putting the right people in place. I won't ever forget.
Something better.
I remember writing reports, brother, telling them like, hey, met this guy the other day. He's got a degree from wherever. He wants to be in politics. Put him in place of position, no matter what it is. Dude, they make a position for him. He would be the House of Engineers or the House of Representative for engineers. Mm. He's got an engineering degree. He'd come in and he's like, hey, we can do X, Y, and Z. We can mine here. We can do this. This guy's actually thinking the way ahead for the future. And then after 3 or 4 years, man, of let's make it a democracy. Let's make them go to court. Yeah, dude, they got it so bad. We would do HVT hits. We're trying to get fingerprints off of the target. Let's go SSE. I'm not saying it's not important, but why are we doing SSE, dude? Like, you got my fingerprints in the system, but Ahmed Mohammed Salim is not in the system anywhere. Yeah. What are you getting his fingerprints for? You know what I mean? Like that.
Waste of time.
What? Time and money, dude. Yeah. Time and money. Everybody we put or everybody we found on a target, we used to do, I think it's called a PCAS system, where they put a finger on it, we scan their finger, try to do their retina and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, what are we doing this for, man? What are we doing this for, bro? Like, the guy ain't got no documentation anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? But we were doing it, trying to do it. Now you're just wasting time on the battlefield. You're wasting money on the battlefield. You know, it's like, no, dude. You know, like, we can come up with the best system to this. And, like, turn it over to them. Like, hey, it's your system. It's fine if we oversee that. Hey, if we catch a bad guy on the battlefield, we know he's an ID maker. What do y'all want to do with him? And if they say, hey, we want to kill him,
let it be their call.
Let it be their call.
Yeah.
If they say, hey, Americans, we'd like to put him in jail, but how do we do that? Well, we can kind of tell you how we do it. It works for us, but it don't work. Well, how don't it work? Because you get enough of these in the jail overcrowds itself, like our jails are now.
Yeah.
Overcrowds itself. And then look at how much money each taxpayer, I remember I looked up years ago, I think it costs.
It's crazy.
I think it's $50,000, $60,000 a year for a freaking a person in jail. Like, come on, dude.
It's crazy.
You know what? Me personally, get rid of that dude and give that money to some single mom that's trying to get her 2-3 kids in college. And people say, oh, Johnny, that's harsh. You can call it what you want. She is a legit contributor to society. She's working. She's a single mom or a single dad. Let's figure out a way to get them that money, get their kids to college.
Mm.
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge, huge help. Thank you.
Like, I want to do politics, man, but I'm just not cut for it, dude. I'll be in there cursing people out, slapping people. I'd be like, y'all are
off
idiots.
With their heads.
Yeah, off with their heads. Bring me in 2 new ones.
I think the Taliban rubbed off on me.
Yeah, I know it is. It's just because I feel like our country, man, we just do, like, it's just ridiculous, man. I was watching something the other day. I was flying somewhere, and I was watching something. They was talking about Duke. It's a Match Martinez basketball. Mm. And I was watching, was it Tyler Flagg that plays for Duke? Whatever it is. He's a good ball player. Cooper Flagg. There we go. I'm calling. Cooper Flagg. I like him. He's a good ball player.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the TV, right? I'm like, why the hell does a kid go to Duke and he's got a $400,000 or $500,000 college bill, but that same kid can go to Bainbridge Community College where I'm from get a business degree, 4-year business degree, and he pays 20 grand for it. I was like, there's something wrong with that picture.
Mm. Well, we've also that's a whole separate conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation, but we've let that-
We've let the college system
Yeah.
kind of run out of control.
Oh, yeah. But that all goes back to like when we go into these countries,
Yeah.
we're trying to throw money at problems.
Yes.
And it doesn't work, man.
It's money is obviously the most critical daily resource in the world,
Well-
but the idea that you can just slap it on anything and enact short-term solutions that are going to add up to a long-term solution there,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Are there things that can be bought? Yes, but when you're talking about people's land,
Yeah.
people's
Mhm.
meaning, people's purpose that they
Oh, yeah.
feel on this earth,
Mhm.
if you think you're just going to buy them off forever,
No.
you may buy their cooperation for
For a
5
little while.
minutes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
guess
Mhm.
what? Every fucking bill has a timer.
Oh, yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact, brother.
You live that. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that's what
Every day.
Yeah.
We live it every day. I remember coming in the country and guys be like, hey, I come to work for the Americans. I got some good information. How much you going to pay me? I'm like, first off, I don't want your information. If I got to pay you for it, take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And guys be like, what do you mean? The last guys pay me. I ain't the last guys, dude. I'm here. And that's what I tell them. I'm here. Wait for my damn family
Yeah.
for your fucking country. If you got information, you give it to me. Not, I'm going to pay you for it. As a matter of fact, why don't I bring you in this little room back here? I like to call it the red room. And you just don't leave here till you tell me. The red room. Heck yeah. What movie was that?
That's The Shining. Red rum backwards.
No. The red room is, what movie was that? We all read the books too. My boys gonna get mad for saying this. Where the girl was dating the guy, Anastasia, I think that was his name. And the guy was a big time business guy.
I
It
don't know
was
what
a
you're
book.
talking about.
Oh, yeah, you do.
No.
It was
I
like,
was thinking
everybody
about-
called it soft porn, but it wasn't soft. Oh, what was it called? Help me out here. He had the red room.
The 50 Shades of
50
Grey.
Shades of Grey. There we go. No, work with me here. Hey, look here. Don't nobody judge me on that. You know what I mean? Hey, 50 Shades of Grey. Dude, that shit went around our team. Everybody was reading it. Then we got in the Twilight series. Dude, I'm like, y'all a bunch of SF guys reading fucking vampire books and shit.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. I know, right?
Take him back to your red room.
She's there. I know. Take him back to the red room. I got something for you.
God. What did you guys like at the beginning though when things were going well and you started to hear the whispers of they want to go to Iraq? What were you guys thinking about that?
We were like, bring it.
Mm.
We were just like, bring it. They're like, oh shit, dude, we're going to Iraq. Because my team actually got
Another
back.
party, let's go.
Yeah. My company got back and I think we were home 40-something days and we was in Iraq.
Wait, you were
In
got
Afghanistan.
back from Afghanistan.
Got back from
came home
Afghanistan.
47 days. And
We was
then-
like 40-something. I can't remember. I think it was like 42, between 42 and 47 days.
Were you in Operation Iraqi Freedom?
Yeah.
Like the first
Yeah.
jump? Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So
Mhm,
what was
yeah.
that like?
It was good, man. Well, we just left
was good.
Afghanistan. We just left Afghanistan. What I liked about it was there was no REs at the time. So it's sort of like, it was Wild West. He's just like, hey, let's get it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now this time, I'm seasoned at this time. So it's like, oh, yeah.
What happened
Only
when you
thing-
got on the ground?
Not the same thing. You know, you're getting pop shots, you're getting shot at, you're getting hit by, the Iraqis or whatever. I can't remember where we landed, but we ended up in Erbil. I think that's where we ended up, was Erbil, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember going through a couple of Saddam palaces, man. We hit those things pretty hard, running through those. People were looting them, of course, not our guys, but the locals were looting them and shit. And I was like, that's when I said, we should have just left Saddam in power, man.
Mm. Yeah, there's a Frontline documentary that came out about the Iraq War. It's probably a decade ago. It's on YouTube. People can find it. But where they interview people who were like kids and teenagers
Mm-hmm.
when Iraq fell and who knew Iraq before that.
Right.
And they interview them now or, over a decade later. And they all kind of say that. It's not to say like, oh, Saddam was fine. He was a good guy. No, he was a terrible guy.
But he kept shit in
terrible,
order.
He did terrible things to people. But it's like sometimes it actually does get worse when you create a vacuum.
Mhm.
And we
Ah.
created a vacuum. You created an insurgency and things that at least were basic things that people did have when Saddam was in charge. And now they lost that too.
Mhm. We got the same thing going on in America. I equate everything, same thing in America. Everybody
How
now,
so?
because everybody's got a voice. We got every alphabetical letter out there that's got a voice now.
Mhm.
The ABCDs and the EPTQs and the QFRGs and the 123s. Everybody's got a voice instead of the country saying, this is what's better for the country. This is what we're going to go with. Not everybody got a voice. Everybody's got a seat at the table. Now we got to appease everybody.
Well, don't you think that especially since we do have a democratic system and it has worked here, don't you think that you have to you know, looking at like the First Amendment with free speech, you got to let those ideas into the public square and let them win out. And I might also say, by the way, you literally had like Donald Trump re-win office after all the shit with him.
Oh, yeah.
Because enough people were like, all right, enough.
Without
with
it.
some
Yeah,
of this
exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's to me, like, if you're going to look at it on that issue, that could be like, you could look at that in a textbook and say, well, that's the system working.
Right. And a lot of that, I think, is too, like I was saying earlier, you're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
Just like people talk about the kids now, like as opposed to when we were growing up. It's like the kids nowadays, they got to hand it to them, I'd like to say, on a silver spoon, because they don't have to work like we did.
Yeah.
They don't have to do the things we had to do. Nobody's fault but our own. It's not the kids' fault, it's our fault. So at the end of the day, until we start, you know, like I know growing up, damn near every kid I knew could drive a stick. Nowadays, I saw something the other day said, if you want to, just like me, I parked my truck. I got a little Chevy Colorado, I call it my Papa truck. It's a 5-speed. Parked at the airport in Raleigh. Threw my keys right on the floor. It's a 5-speed. Doors unlocked, keys
No
sitting there.
one's stealing that.
Nobody's stealing that. If somebody do, they're my age, they're just driving it home, they'll probably bring it back. But nobody's young and stealing that, dude. Nobody. Ain't nobody stealing that.
Yeah.
You mean, but it's little
I
simple
don't
things
even
like
know
that.
anyone that drives stick anymore.
Yeah. Every time I go to buy a car and I'm like, hey, this is a stick because you can usually get it pretty cheap. I mean, you know, you ain't selling that thing.
No.
This is what I give it for you. I just bought my daughter a Dodge Dart, a 2015 Dodge Dart. It's a 5-speed, 6-speed. I think I paid $2,000 for it. I did. I paid $2,000. I'll see.
I can't believe someone bought that.
Yeah. The guy's like, it's a stick. I'll take it. But I taught my kids how to drive stick when they were 2, 3 years old. They was driving tractors. So
It is. The last time I was in a stick car was a little over a decade ago.
well, I'm driving
My
a Chevy
one friend was
Colorado to
doing it,
Boone. Driving it to Boone, puts in a stick.
Yeah. Oh man.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, I feel like we've just kind of like, don't get me wrong. I love the Democratic government we got. And I do think there should be a voice where it needs to be spoken out.
Yeah.
But then I also think there's some things that, and maybe I'm just old school, but some things, like my dad used to say, some things are kept behind closed doors. What I do in my house is my business. What you do in your house is your business. But I feel like a lot of that stuff, we've let that bleed over into politics. Just like taking the church out of school. Yeah, I think that was wrong. Like, hey.
You think that was wrong?
I think that was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, let a kid stand up and say the pledge of allegiance. Let him, you know, say in God we trust. Why wouldn't we? Our country was built off that. Our country was built off of morals, off of, you know, the 10 Commandments, or, you know, off of a higher power that, you know, let's do the right thing. Let's just do the right thing.
I think you have a good point on where morals can be brought into that to help instill values. The only thing I would say is that, and I've always kind of gone back and forth on this, but they did write into the Constitution that they wanted a separation of church and state. So I was like, well, then if you put in government-funded public schools, you know, one religion in particular, is that breaking that? I don't know. These are hard questions,
Yeah,
but
they
I see what you're saying in the sense that, you know, there could be a disintegration of some values because you maybe go cold turkey and remove even being able to say like, oh, in God we trust, or something like that. Like, I don't think that's really a problem. You know, like you should be able to do that, because you also, even with simple shit like the Pledge of Allegiance, you do establish an understanding of national pride, and
It's traditional. It's
right?
tradition.
Yeah.
It's tradition.
It's not supposed to be like brainwashing people. Like, I think we stand for great things in this country.
And if we don't, then why do you think everybody's trying to come here?
Right.
And the sad part about it is, like, the Pledge of Allegiance, like you just said, or the national anthem. I tell people all the time, and this is what the team Red, White, and Blue, we're doing the run across America. And I told somebody that we were talking about something there, and I told people, I said, look here, there's one symbol in the world, one symbol that I know of, might be 2, might be 3, but the one that I know of, no matter where you at in the world, I don't give a damn where you go in the world, you can go in the darkest holes of Timbuktu. If you hold up an American flag, everybody knows what the fuck it is. I don't care where you go. That's how much weight that symbol carries. So at the end of the day, when people start saying, all right, you know, like Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem, I'm like, look, dude, it's not just those things that you're doing. You're talking about the flag right now.
Yes.
And what it represents in the world, in the whole world, not just in America. I mean, everywhere you go. You told me right now, pick out a Russian flag. Yeah, of course I can do it. But if you have a Russian flag, most people are like, oh, that's Venezuela. You know, they don't know. Shit, they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But if you hold up that American flag, the first thing you get, America number 1.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, America number 1.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
We got to keep that.
But the sad part about it is that in the long term, me personally, I feel like we're losing it because we're supposed to be number one, setting an example for everybody, and we can't even keep our own shit straight. You mean we can't even, like the things that our country, like we were saying earlier, things that our country, and me as a veteran for 21 years, that's what hurts me more than anything, dude. Like me, and I'm gonna bring up Team Red, White, Blue now because I'm a marketer now.
Like what you fought for, you're saying.
Exactly. What we fought for. And it's not what I fought for because I can care less. I go back and fight again. I thought it was fun. But what sucks is it's not what I fought for. And I might tear up. It's not what I fought for or what my buddies fought for. It's what our buddies fucking died for, dude. That's what hurts. You know what I mean? The fighting part, dude, I got shot once, been blown up 5 times. That don't bother me at all. I'll deal with it. Got neck injuries, back injuries I have for the rest of my life. Got, nerve injuries I have for the rest of my life. That I'll deal with. But the fact that my buddies will not see their fucking kids grow up, the Luis Cantrells raising, her kids are gone, her husband's gone, the Mike Duskin, his wife, Maggie, it's shit like that right there, dude. That hurts more than anything. To see a country, we are the best of the best, and we're acting like a bunch of damn high schoolers, dude, bunch of third graders. You know what I mean? Like we can't even get shit right. It's like where do we fix that at? Because 20 years ago, our country didn't have as many problems as it's got now.
Well, that's why you talk about like the kick in the ass that September 11th was because people here were forced to see it, and it was people you knew.
Mm-hmm.
I live in this part of the country. I knew people who died in those towers.
Exactly. Of course you do.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that in a lot sooner terms because like you fought all the years after that, and you've seen your guys die, but we don't see that here.
And
it's
makes
a
you
statistic.
And dude, it makes you so angry, man. It makes you so angry to know that, Chris Shaw, he had 5 kids. Died in the Philippines. He wasn't even in combat. Died in the Philippines. He was taking school supplies to a school in the Philippines. IED. They said it was meant for the Philippine Marines, but it hit their truck. But it's shit. And he's a Green Beret. Hey, Green Beret. Me and him went through the course together, man. But it's guys like that right there. People know what the hell Chris Shaw is. You mean? Or my little brother Dave Glenn that lost both legs, his testicle, and and his retina, and messed up his ring finger. He'll never get that part of his body back. He'll never recover from that, no matter what he tells you. Yeah. But then when you see a guy like that sacrifices everything he sacrificed, and then you see the things that our country is arguing over, dude, it's like, are you shitting me right now?
Yeah.
It's like we're going backwards, dude, instead of like, when we do this run across America, I'm starting a new saying, so start saying it for me. It's called math, and that's math. M-A-F, math.
Math. Okay.
We're moving America forward again.
Oh, I like that.
And I told the guys, Maffa. That's funny you say that. My dude, that's exactly what I said. I said Maffa. And I was like, nah, you can't make, move
well,
America.
they're doing Maffa.
Yeah, I know. But I like math, moving America forward. And the reason why I say that is because, like I was saying earlier with the flag, that flag is the most symbolic emblem, I think, in the world, the American flag. Everybody knows what it is, dude. Yeah. Everybody. So when we start that flag in San Diego, and start moving it across America to Washington, D.C. I went on a podcast the other day, and the guy says, hey, Johnny, what do you feel about the record? I said, I know I'm about to piss some people off that we're running with, some of my teammates. I hope I don't, but they know me now. I go, I'm going to be honest, I don't give a fuck about the record. I don't. I go, what I care about, dude, is those teammates that I've lost and the moms, the dads, the kids that won't grow up with their fathers. That's what I give a fuck about. I want them to know when we're running that flag across America, if it's only 12 of us, we know that your mom and dads didn't die in vain.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about to me. The record, it's going to be great, but I can care less about that. When I got those mom and dads bringing their kids out there, watching us run across America and say, that's what your dad died for, to me, that's the record. Now they know that my dad might be dead. He might be in Arlington, or he might be buried in a small town, graveyard. We know what he fought for. Those stars and stripes, that's what it's all about. Yeah. And that, dude, like, I'm one of the most patriotic people in the world, man. When I start, that's why I don't do news, man. I start watching the politics, dude. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be brain.
Oh, it's nerve wracking, dude. It's like and I'm not even a smart guy, but I'm like, dude, I can go up on the hill. You give me about 30 days, a lot of them probably fired anyways. You give me 45 days, dude, and this place be turned the fuck around. They'll be like, vote in for his third and fourth term right now, dude. Because it all be about hard work, dude. You put in hard work, you get rewarded.
Well, here's the other problem, and this is the big 500-pound elephant in the room. There's money funding all this stuff. And the people that then say these things who are just little puppets.
Puppets.
And then that's a downstream effect on society. Then society takes it and runs with it like,
Yeah.
you know, like a herd. Oh, he said this, she said that, he said this, she said that. Rah, rah, rah.
Now we're all
And
arguing.
it's funded.
Yeah. That's why, and then if they put me in charge tomorrow, you know the first thing I do? No fucking titles. No Democrats, no fucking Republicans. If you don't like that, pack your shit and get up. You're to the label now as American. And we're going to vote towards what's best for America.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, you can take your acronyms. Hey, we got a ticket for you. Matter of fact, we got a pilot and a bird for you. We'll fly you first class. Get you on up out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to Air Force Kabul.
Air Force, hey, they're waiting for you. Got a cell for you. Come on, send them on there.
Do you ever want to take somebody on a flight and say, let me show you something?
Dude, I would love to. Especially all these guys with all this money, all the millionaires, dude. They're like, you know, it ain't that bad. I'm like, come on, dude. You got the money. You pay for the plane ticket. I'll just ride with you. I'll protect you. And just take them over and let them see, dude, like how hard.
Shit themselves.
Oh, yeah. And then make sure they bring their significant other so they can see it too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, my daughter would have to do that. Yes, she would have to walk this far, carrying that much water for her dad to yell at her to go get more water.
That's
every
right.
fucking day. No school. And she's eating bare minimum rations. Every day. See that. So you can go back and explain to your kids that they got it made.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think that's great that, you know, we're living an American dream. But on the same token, it's like, all right, when do we straighten ourselves out? And
For sure.
I might not see it in my lifetime, which is, it is what it is, but it's just frustrating to know the things that you've lost that you can never get back. Like I can never get my family back. Well, I got my family back. I can never get my ex back.
Right.
I can never get the time I missed with my mom and dad before they passed because I'm deployed and I'm trying to fight the war and I feel like I'm that important. Then you look at it, you're like, is this what we were fighting for? Like, what are we doing, dude? Like, what are we? So when I meet people, dude, like, there's a good friend of mine named Steve Kinker out in Indiana. When I meet people like that, dude, and I meet people like Cody Wooten, he's a cop in Indiana, you know, and I meet people in my hometown, Paul Gordon and Officer Gaines. I meet these guys that are still doing the jobs that, you know, nobody wants anymore. And I don't understand it, dude. I remember growing up, you either want to be military, law enforcement, or firefighter. Yeah. Those were the coolest jobs. Now you ask kids, you want to be a cop? You know, a stupid cop? I don't want to be a cop. It's crazy. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, that used to be, you saw somebody in uniform, you're like, oh my God, man, that's awesome.
So there's something to be said for that. That used to be so normal. And now it's not.
It's sad, man. It's sad because it's just bad stigmatism, bad whatever, you know what I mean? Bad publicity, bad whatever you want to call it, but there's bad apples in every bunch.
Yeah.
But we put it on social media, and I told somebody the other day, shut that damn thing there off for about 60 days. One, you have a little chaos, but two, make people go back to having dinner and make people start to talk to each other again.
Yes.
Dude, if I walk to somebody less than 25 years old, they can't even hold a conversation. Hey, where you from? I'm like, I know I don't look that intimidating. They don't even know how to talk.
Yeah.
Well, give me your number, I'll text you. Dude, I would literally give my number to kids, especially athletes. When I'm working with athletes, they'll be across the room and text me. I'm like, hey, come over here right now, high speed.
Crazy.
Yeah, they text me right there.
Yeah, you know, I was basically like in my parents' house for 3.5 years when I was building this. And it was during the whole build up of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so my job was to be social, which means I had people come in just like this. We're talking. And then everything I dealt with on business, you know, we're dealing on the phone. Everything seems normal. I go out a little here and there, but not much. I was working. And when I moved up here and I was really outside again, going to the bars, going to normal places, seeing people and seeing how much communication among people my age had just
plummeted. Oh, yeah.
It's frightening. Like when I work out every day in the gym, I do a full lift and then I do cardio. When I do cardio, I throw in headphones.
Yep.
Before then, I got myself to a point like everyone talks about meditating and shit. I ain't got time for that. So the closest thing I do to meditating is I work out without headphones. I actually like it, which is really shocking. If you had told me that like 2 years ago, I said you're fucking crazy.
I do that.
But when I do that, as far as I can tell, I'm the only one in there without AirPods on, right?
I'll be the only one.
And I just see, you know, people in between sets on their fucking phone, and it's like we're all just these little pods, no pun intended.
It is.
And we're just on separate little planets, and we got all these people in front of us, but we're still so concerned with what happens on this thing. There's something so bizarre.
And that's how people are walking into damn public places with ARs and shooting them up.
Yeah. There's a correlation there.
It's oh, I think hold on, honey, I think somebody's shooting. Oh shit, really? Yeah, somebody's shooting. That's a gunshot.
Yeah, you ever see like these situations where shit's going down, like something bad, and you see it because it's a video.
First thing they
and
do,
someone's like,
that's the first thing they
fuck,
shit.
bro."
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's like, get the fuck out there and put the fucking camera down. Go beat the shit out of the guy.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Oh yeah, I've seen it. I look, I'm like, holy shit. First off, they need to arrest that motherfucker that's filming. Because he should have been helping.
Yes.
Prosecute his ass. Don't worry about the two that are fighting.
Yeah.
Prosecute the fucker that's filming. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Where it used to be, if a man saw a woman getting attacked or something.
That's right.
He's
you
in
fucking
there.
jump in
Yeah,
there.
he's in there, dude. He's in there. He
Yeah.
might have had underlying agendas, but he's in there.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, to save your life. You know, like he's in there. But nowadays, they'll walk
That's
right
my
by, dude.
last. Take out the fucking phone and video. Like, you know, even when you're walking in the city, you know, some weird people walk around. And
Oh, yeah.
stuff. I'm always scanning. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, there's no thought of like,
But
"Ooh,
that's-
let me video this guy yelling to himself on the street. It's like, yo, that guy's a little closer. Let me get over here for a second.
I'm gonna do it. They ain't wrapped too tight. That's how I'm like. Let me see what's going on with this guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. While everybody else getting shot, dude, you'll be the one that's lying.
That's
You know?
right.
Yeah, he shot 8 motherfuckers, but I was good.
That's right.
Got to be vigilant. Got to be, and we're
Mhm.
not. And that's our country right now. Just not vigilant.
Well, you talk about the guys you lost along the way and stuff, like fellow Green Berets,
Oh, yeah.
guys you trained with and shit like that. But you had to tighten a team of 10, 12 guys. Did you lose some of the guys on your team too?
Yeah.
In firefights?
Yeah, we lost. Actually, it was a support guy of ours. We lost Sean Farrell on our team
What happened?
back in 2014. Got hit by AK round is what we think it was. It's pretty much AK round or either AK round or PKM round, but he got hit right above his side plates, man, right there. 25-year-old infantry kid, man, just a kid. And he was on my truck, and I remember I called him Powder when he first got on the truck. I said, damn, Sean, you white. Dude, I ain't never seen nobody this fucking white. And dude, he was just white as that cup right there. I was like, where the hell are you from? He's like, I'm from New York, Chief. I was like, good Lord, dude. I was like, I'm calling you Powder. You ever seen the movie Powder? He's like, no, I don't think I've seen it. We ended up watching all these. I was like, you watching that shit tonight? And you know, as a kid that was white as hell, he could bend the spoon. He had the powder. You ever saw it? It's called Powder. You guys gotta watch that shit.
No.
2-minute deployments, dude. But we ended up watching. He's a good kid, man. But I remember he ended up getting shot and killed. I remember I pulled him out of the truck. And I was like, Sean, help me. Because he's a big boy. He's about 6'1", 6'2". Wasn't real big, but he was just big. Like just a natural big guy. I remember he wasn't helping. I was like, come on, dude, so through and through. Because he got shot through his arm. So he's on the 50 cal like this, and the round went right through his arm and right above his shoulder plates. And I remember the doc coming at night, and he's like, hey, Johnny, you hunt? I was like, yeah, I still hunt. He goes, if you'd have shot an animal, you couldn't have bet a better shot on him. He said it hit every one of his vital organs. It just ricocheted around his body. So he's basically dead when he hit the truck. And I remember one of the guys overheard him say, I got him. I got one. Or I got him, the guy that was shooting. And so we had T-shirts made up that said, you know, I got him on it. It was a pretty cool T-shirt. Just to always remember him by it, and we wear them. But I remember I went up to New York to see his parents, man. Mom and dad, just great people, man. He just got married. He only been married maybe 2 years, 3 years, tops. And I remember I met his dad, and I was like, went to the gravesite, and I told his dad, I was like, hey, I'll share a story with you. I'll give you the whole truth of how it went down. And, you know, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I only know one way. That's black and white. You know, he's like, all right. I remember I told him the story, and he gave me a hug, and because I got a tattoo that says "Not About Me" on my side, and I remember I went up to Sean. I remember I told him my exact words: "Suck it the fuck up, dude." It's a through and through, because that's all I saw. And because we was in the kill zone, I remember I was just hitting the truck. I was like, "Help me move you, Sean, because you can get me fucking shot." And I remember just hitting the truck, ting ting. I remember I drug him around to the side of the truck. The medic was coming up to work on him, and by the time I got around to the truck, the medic got to work on him. He's like, "Ooh, he ain't looking good." I remember he looked at me when I told him to suck it the fuck up. He looked at me and he smiled. I told his dad, remember that little cheesy smile he had like the Joker? He looked up and he smiled at me, and then his eyes rolled. And dude, he was gone then. But, you know, of course, I remember looking, I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, holy shit. So when we get him around, I snatch his shirt open, medic's coming up, and I could see one, dude, when I said it was a pinhole, it was not that big at all. It's probably the size of one of these little microphone plugs in. And it went right over his plate, man, and that bullet just ricocheted on the inside of him. Never left his body. I think they pulled it out his foot, his left foot, if I'm not mistaken. It literally ricocheted around his body, basically hit his bone in his leg and just traveled down to the bottom of his foot and stopped. Yeah, so I told his dad, I was like, hey, you know, that thing, it bothered me too, man, because I felt like, and I told his dad, I was like, and it was confident for me because his dad told me, and if Sean Farrell's dad's seeing this, I need to give him a call. But I remember he told me, I told him, I was like, sir, if I could have, I would have picked a better choice of words. And I remember he looked at me and said, what you said at the time is what he needed to hear.
Yeah.
And that man told me that, dude, and I swear to God, man, it just lifted something off of me that made me feel a hell of a lot better than, what I did, because it bothered me. I was like, all right, not about me, don't be selfish. Because I was thinking about, man, we're going to get shot in this, I'm going to get shot in this fucking kill zone. And that's what I was thinking about. We're going to get fucking shot if you don't help me. And I remember he didn't have nothing in him. And it was like, fuck. But yeah, dude, when you lose guys like that and you think about it, it's like, what was it all for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I see the kids that are, going to school and they're living out their dreams. That's a great thing. Or if you see a kid with cancer, it's like, hey, we fought for that kid, that doctor to find that fucking cure where that kid can live a longer life. Because if you want to kill, and I used to say this all the time, and I know one SF guy got killed by it. If you want to kill an SF guy, you set it up around kids or set it up around an animal, you'll kill them all day long. Guarantee it. Guarantee it, dude. I remember they start putting bombs in dogs, man. Kill us quicker than shit, dude. We see a dog, it's like, hey, come here, let me help this dog, and boom. And then they started training kids, man. I knew a guy that got stabbed and killed. I think he was a CA guy. He was attached to third group. They went out to do a KLE just to give out candy and shit to kids. And they taught this kid to stab in the throat or in the neck. And he's up there trying to get a kid candy, man. And the kid just stuck him 3 or 4 times, killed him on the spot, dude. But it's shit like right there where you just like, all right, like, what are we? And I get it, man, and I tell people like.
It's a kid.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword, but that kid was taught that.
Yeah,
and it all goes back to what we were saying earlier. If you're taught that, you take on a normal kid, just like I tell people about racism, it's a trained behavior. If I take 3 kids right now, if I take 4 kids, 2 black kids, 2 white kids, they're going to play all day long. The only difference no kids are, you're going to find out who the type A male is real quick. You're going to find out who's dominant real quick. But the color of your skin will never come into play. You'll find out who the type A is. You'll find out who the adventurous one is. He's the little Johnny that's like me, jumping off the fucking roof. I'm going to jump off this roof with a trash bag and see if I can float. It'll be that kid, but the whole race thing will never come in there. It's a taught behavior, just like that kid was taught.
Yes.
And that's why when we go to these countries, I've had people ask me all the time, do you think it's worth it? And I'm like, yeah. I go, you'll look at it and say it's not. I'll look at it and say, hell yeah, it's worth it, because I saw those 5 to 10, 15, 20, 100 kids that would see us come into a village and bring them school books and how they would light up. Where if their life is going to be shit for the rest of their life, for that one fucking day, that one day, they knew they were protected and they knew somebody cared about them, period. And that was us, the Americans.
It's a heavy thing.
It is.
And you lived it. So I see where you're coming from there. My question would be, at what cost to give that small percentage that experience? You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, let me preface that by saying, I do view Afghanistan and Iraq differently.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Everyone likes to say, "Oh, no war" and shit like that. Listen, I'd love a world with no war too. Yeah. I'm totally with you.
Yep.
But like, looking at the situation as it happened, going into Afghanistan, I don't care what people say, but we had to.
Yeah.
Iraq is a different story. But like, when you look at Iraq, I talk to guys who were there who simultaneously will say, "We should never been there. I regret the war," but will then also say, and I get this, they're like, we were with the shit situation we were in, there was some good we were able to do while we were there, because these are good people going there on orders to take care of business, but like, they come across children and families and regular human shit, and they can do stuff like what you said. So there's something to be said for like passing off some good things. It's just a full machine of like, oh, there's a war here and there's a foreign country, it's not us. And look, now we have so much violence, it does also foment a generational hatred too. No?
Oh yeah, it will. I know it will, because I feel like Afghanistan, I'll back up because you had 2 questions there. I feel like Afghanistan, we had to, because we just got punched in the mouth.
Yep.
And we're the big bad. We're fucking America, dude. And I feel like if anybody punches us in the mouth, we're gonna punch you back.
Yep.
And we should hit you twice as hard.
And we did.
And we did. And we kept hitting them. And Iraq, totally different war. We thought we said there was weapons of mass destruction there. That's controversial. And the reason why I say that's controversial, because my ODA, it's on BBC somewhere. I'll have to find it for you guys. My ODA actually did a full-blown DA hit in MOP level 4 gear. We trained for it. And we hit this compound. I will never forget it. We hit this compound. And we hit that compound. I'm not saying they had weapons of mass destruction there, because we didn't find nothing, but we found warheads that were empty. There was empty warheads. And inside that building, I will never forget it. We went down, dude. There was bird cages. There was fucking rat cages. There was shit everywhere in there. I'm not saying they had weapons of mass destruction, but they was testing something.
It's funny you say that.
There's vials everywhere, you know, and I might go to jail for saying this. I don't fucking know.
You won't.
But I'm just being, I don't care. You can air it. What are you going to lock me up? Fuck it, dude. I probably live better in jail than I do now. Fuck. But you know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, dude, there was shit there. And I remember coming out and I remember my team sergeant, he got so fucking mad at me. Cause I walked out, dude, and I snatched that fucking mask off. I was fucking hurting, dude. I was dehydrated. We'd been in that bitch for 3 or 4 hours, sweating like a fucking pig. And he goes, what the fuck? I remember he's talking, what the fuck are you doing? I remember I pointed like that right there. I go, them are motherfucking humans right there. If they can breathe the air, I can breathe the air. And there's Iraqis that walked over there. You know what I mean? So whether there's weapons of mass destruction, I don't fucking know. But I know for a fact, Johnny motherfucking Glenn from Bainbridge, South Georgia, saw with his own 2 eyes, dude. It was a 3-story building. Middle story was a laboratory. You can kiss my ass. I ain't a smart guy, but I know what a laboratory look like.
I believe you.
We went to the back of the room and went down to it. We went down the back of that room. It was probably 100 yards long. No, not quite 100 yards. Probably about 50 yards long, about half a football field. And all down on that bottom thing, there were cells on one side of the wall, dude. There was fucking bird cages everywhere. There was fucking dead birds, dead rats, and rat cages everywhere in that motherfucker. They were testing something. And so when people are like, oh, there wasn't, I'm like, look here, dude. I'm just telling you what I saw. I don't know, you know, what it was. I'll look it up on BBC because my buddy Troy on BBC, you see us leaving the compound, the guy's filming, and Troy took the sign. And it's got like a, you know, the natural like disease, not disease, or the natural chemical sign or whatever. It's got a red arrow through it.
Exactly.
It was one of those up there.
Yeah.
And Troy took the sign. I bet you still got that fucking sign right now in his garage. He took the sign, sure did.
So the reason I'm not surprised at all by what you're saying is because my friend Danny Hall was on the show for episodes 216 and 217. He was here for like 6.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Green Beret, Silver Star winner. He was in for like over 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Savage.
I know Danny Hall. I don't know him in person, but I know the name.
So you know, he said at the beginning of episode 217, that was like 5-6 minutes in, he said that he found him himself as well.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what we get caught up in is that when they sold us the WMD thing with Iraq, it was nukes, right? Now, those weren't there, and they didn't have that. But what Danny was saying is that in a slight defense, similarly to what you're saying, there were biological weapons.
Oh, yeah, there were. There were biological
weapons.
weapons.
Now backing that up
Yeah,
as well.
it was there. I'm telling you, dude. I'll find it. On BBC, I'll find it. I'll find it for you. I'll look it up tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll find it. It's on there.
Yeah, you're not going to get in
And the
trouble
guy
for
did
that.
this whole, I don't give a fuck what they're going to do to me, dude. The guy did this whole coverage on it, dude. You know, like, what are they going to do to me, dude? Like,
Yeah.
because you want to hear some nation secrets. You think that's bad. I'll be like, hold up, motherfucker. You better put me under jail. Put me in front of a microphone again. I will bring all you motherfuckers down. Johnny Glenn going down. Put us on that flight to motherfucking Bagram. We might as well go back to Afghanistan and
You
take
know
over.
where the bodies are buried.
I know where the bodies are buried. Hell yeah. I had the shovel. Shit, so.
Oh, you had the shovel.
I had the shovel. Yeah. I thought, you know, I dug a couple of those. But seriously though, man, like they were there, man. They were there.
Yeah.
And where we fucked up, and you said that wrong, or you said that right with the media, we say things and they believe it. My ex used to always say, words have meaning. She said it all the time. Words have meaning. Just like I used to always tell my kids, for every action, there's a reaction. For every action, there's a fucking reaction. I used to tell my kids that. You clean your room, reaction is daddy rewards you. You don't clean your room, reaction is leather comes out, you get your ass tore up. That's pretty simple. That is pretty fucking simple, dude. That's the way my dad raised me. That's what I'm raising you. My kids turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, you know, where they messed up at, just like you said earlier, they said we were looking for nuclear weapons. What they should have said, nuclear weapons / weapons of mass destruction. Period. That's what they should have said. And then you covering everybody's ass. Hey, we didn't find nukes, but we found WMD.
Yeah.
Or if we didn't find WMD, we found nukes. But either way, we found shit that shouldn't have been there. And that means that they're breaking all laws of the weapons of mass destruction laws of saying, you know, the nuclear weapons and all that bullshit. So they broke all the weapons or broke all the laws saying we didn't have them and you did. So at the end of the day, you know, people can say, oh, we shouldn't have been there. I'm like, hey, I ain't saying we prevented anything, but we damn sure was a deterrent for it.
Yeah.
Because the way they left that place, dude, they didn't clean nothing up. And if anything else, you would have burnt that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would have burned it. Like if we got a fucking
They
a
hightailed
lab.
it.
Oh, they hightailed it out there quick, dude. We got there maybe, I would say 2, maybe 3 days too late, man. Yep. Sure did.
Could have changed a lot.
Could have
Get
changed a
that
whole lot.
earlier.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
how many deployments? It was 2 to Iraq.
2 to Iraq.
So the first one, Iraqi freedom. How
The
long?
invasion.
How long are you there for?
We were there for about 4 months.
Okay.
We literally hit Iraq, dude, and just went to traveling. I can't remember where we started at, though, but I know we ended up in Erbil.
And you're encountering firefights and stuff along the way?
Along the way, dude. And then when we got to Erbil, I remember we went into the airfield there, and the Marines Corps were there because they almost shot us. Went out to, hands up to the Marine Corps. And but they didn't know we were coming in either because we didn't have we were just kind of moving, dude, doing our own thing. And then I went back in 07, I think it was, 06, 07. 06, I was there for 6 months.
Oh, so you went back a few years later.
Yeah, back to Iraq.
And you had deployments in between there in Afghanistan?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's skip those for a second. When you go back to Iraq, whole new world, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What was it like?
IDs.
06, 07?
IDs were in effect then, you know what I mean? I remember we were cleaning. I stayed on Hershey a lot then because I went back in 07. Remember I told you I got out for a year?
Mm-hmm.
I went back for a year and I was doing contract work, making a shit ton of money. But my third group guys, I made a shit ton of money. I got out for 366 days. But my third group guys were actually right on the base where I was, which was strategically planned. I'm not stupid. Because Johnny motherfucking Glenn knows if some shit go down, whether I'm in or not, these motherfuckers are coming.
They got your back.
Oh, yeah, they're coming, dude. And when I first got on ground, I went and got shit from them. Like, hey, man, let me get some claymores. Let me get this. Let me get that.
So you're contracting when you're there.
Yeah.
Now, what kinds of things were you,
what
were you tasked with doing?
I was doing personal security details for the Corps engineers. So we were basically just leading them down Route Hershey back and forth to their little place they had to go every day. Oh, yeah.
IED alley.
Getting shot up and blown up every fucking day, dude.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how much that flipped. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
I was like, eesh.
Yeah. That, me personally, this is another thing I would have done. Once we caught Saddam Hussein, nobody would have fucking knew about it. For the people that caught him, remember when people were like, oh my God, I shot Osama bin Laden. Got it. Your ass would have got shot in the face that same night. You would have died. But when we caught Saddam Hussein, I would have kept that under wraps as long as I could have.
Why?
I just would have, because we're Americans. Just like right now, if I were a tyrant and I just started killing people and I became the mass murderer of Boston, if you caught me tomorrow, if you caught a copycat killer, say he became my copycat killer and I go, I ain't killing no more. You caught him, the first thing people are going to do is start going out at night again. They're like, oh my God, we're free. We caught the copycat killer. It's all over. So in our eyes, war don't end like that. Just like when we caught Osama bin Laden, same thing. I remember my family members asked me, well, we caught Osama bin Laden. Do you have to go back over there? I'm like, hell yeah. Shit, fuck yeah. I bought property over there. Hell yeah, I had to go to my house. But people think that once, because that's the American mindset. Yeah. Because they think that that one man, he ran that war, but he didn't.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. Just like when we killed Osama, or when we killed or when we captured Saddam Hussein. That's why everything fell to shit. Because he was that one point of failure, which he had all the fucking power to call shots. So once you killed him, all you did was you killed one dictator and you bred 100 more. Because all those guys that was in him, that he could say, no, Johnny Glenn, you're not doing that. Roger Escher, you're not doing that. No, Julian, you're not doing that. Roger Escher, I'm not doing that.
Say that.
No, there's nobody. No, guess what? Me and you are type A. That's like I tell people all the time. You know, I know we talked earlier and I want to get into religion, but I was raised a Southern Baptist in South Georgia. Me and my mom got into the biggest argument I ever got into with her about 2008. Because by this time, dude, I've saw a lot of shit and I've done a lot of shit I wasn't proud of. Not even say I wasn't proud of. I did it because I had to do it. Yeah. And I told my mom, if there is a God, why would he make me have to do some of these things I've had to do? Mm-hmm. And why would he take some of my guys that are trying to do the right thing to free the oppressed? And basically, I was in that dark space where... What did she say to that? She's like, well, God, you can't answer for God, baby. And, you know, he wants you to live right through him and what the Bible says. And I was like, yeah, Mom. And my biggest thing was, I had a good friend that was an atheist. I mean, one time we had a firefight. I said, hey, motherfucker, you better be playing to somebody. Mm. He's like, nah, Johnny, ain't no God, brother. That God's in your hand. And we're making these jokes in a firefight, just getting it. And I remember I got done. And then I started listening to him like, why are you atheist, this, that, and other? He goes, no, John, I was raised Southern Baptist just like you. He's from like Mississippi. What ended up happening, he goes, I started studying the Bible inside and out. He said, there's a preach out there. There's nobody that know about the Bible than I did. Because if I was going to second guess it, I had to know it. And he goes, in my eyes, it was written by man to control man. And then I started just listening to him and I started reading the Bible more because I grew up reading the Bible.
Is that what you think today?
A little bit of both. I think there's a high power because I'm here. And some of the shit I've survived, dude, like the last idea I hit, I should be dead, period. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And the one before that probably should have been dead, but I'm not. I'm still here. No scratch. Just some nerve damage, cracks in the frontal lobe, but I'm still fine. And then some of the things I've survived and some of the things I've seen, there's got to be something, or maybe it's the people that died before us that love us looking over us. But I don't know, man. It's hard to say, man, because you think about it, what way you don't want to die. If I ask anybody, never read the Bible, they say, I don't want to burn. Mm-hmm. So what do you put in the Bible? If you do wrong, you'll burn in hell.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like I told my mom, there's certain things in there that say, you know, a shepherd must protect his flock, which means you can go to war, you can go to combat, you can kill. But then one of the commandments say, thou shalt not kill. Yeah. So now you're contradicting yourself. And then you got the King James version, you got this version, that version.
Yeah, which creates a whole bunch of translations.
Oh, dude, and then if you get 10 preachers and put them in a room, or whoever, and you ask one simple translation, one simple verse, there's 10 different verses, or 10 different translations.
Seen that.
And then when I watched the movie with Denzel, another movie, where he's walking on, he's blind. You guys seen it?
Ray Charles?
No. Hell no. All motherfucking black people. You hear that shit? That's some racist shit right there.
Get out.
I say, yeah, you gotta leave. That's it. I liked him when I first met him.
We were doing so well.
We were doing so good. We hadn't done no racial shit, and I wasn't being racial. This guy goes, Ray Charles. No, where he plays a blind guy, he's a.
God damn it!
There goes your podcast.
He was the backup hire. I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, that's fucking hilarious. That is
only
funny.
Asian people that all look the same.
That is fucking hilarious.
Asian,
He said, I know. You say that. So we know you're not racist. It's the Book of Eli. Have you seen that?
Oh, actually, yeah, but it's been years.
You got to watch that again.
Yeah.
I want you to watch that again. And remember the guy in there that got the shit in his leg, the gangrene in his leg? And the blind lady said, you got gangrene. You'll be dead soon. She could read Braille. And the Bible's written in Braille. Because remember, Denzel was blind in that movie. Nobody caught that. I picked up on it watching it. I was like, dude, there's something going on with him. Because everything he did was by sound, for the most part. But anyways, at the end of that movie, towards the end of the movie, one of the guys said, why are we wasting all this manpower for one book? And the guy slapped me. He said, it's not just a book. It's a weapon, you idiot. With that book, I control everybody. Yeah. And it's a fact, dude. If you look at all our wars, it wouldn't start over money, it wouldn't start over. It's religion. It's fucking religion, dude.
Look at it right now.
You can look at it right now, dude. Yeah. Everything we're doing. And that's why when people say, oh, the book says the world's going to come to an end. Yeah, because everybody's believing all these different fucking beliefs.
Yeah. And it's what we talk about this topic a lot in a lot of different contexts on this podcast. I think the vast majority of people I know who follow a religion, one of the major religions, use it for good, and they get peace in their life, and I think that's an awesome thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that those people get such a disservice done to them by a select few who use it for power and use it for evil.
Money.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. And
why the hell am I paying God 10% tithes when he got everything?
That's right.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I give him like 1%. Yeah, I look out for him. I buy his wine. You know, he's like, fucking Johnny Glenn brought my wine. He's good.
But you do believe that something created all this. You just think it's different than what man has written.
I think man has written his own version.
Man, you and I are pretty similar.
And I'll tell you why, brother. You think about it. Me and you are similar, right?
Yeah.
You think about if we wasn't raised the way, just the way you said that. You think about if you and I wasn't raised the way we were raised. Nobody could tell me shit, dude. You think about the Wild Wild West, when the Wild Wild West, the Wild Wild West, before man got into the Bible. You know what happened? I walk in a bar. I see you got a pocket full of money. Gun to the head, boom, get your money. I have no remorse, no sympathy, nothing. No empathy, no nothing. So I think man is smart enough to say, hey, dude, we got to come up with a plan to control these Johnny motherfucking Glens. These motherfuckers getting out of control. Because listen to me now, he just shot my brother Wyatt the other day, took his money. He slept with his wife the other day, and he stole all their cattle. So guess what? Your first commandment, thou shalt not kill. You ain't going to kill Wyatt. And then thou shalt not commit adultery. You're not going to sleep with his wife. And you're not going to steal his fucking cows. You mean, so they went down the road, all the shit that they know Johnny motherfucking Glenn would have been doing. This motherfucker looting, pillaging, and stealing shit. Get rid of this. So now you write it up where you think about it. It's a high power. And I'm not telling anybody to believe, or I'm not trying to, persuade anybody. I'm just telling you what I've seen and what I've thought. And I've talked to my preacher back home, Reverend Sanders. I've had a conversation with him about this a few times. I went home for funerals. And then, it's like some of the things I've seen happen in my life, even like my parents. I lost my mom in December of 2017. I lost my dad 4 months later in 2018. Great people, dude. Some of the best people you ever meet in your life. Fed every dude. I had more fucking family and friends in my house I know of. They fed everybody. They were pillars in the neighborhood. Always positive. My dad never met a stranger. Paid for people light bills, dude. When we had his funeral, I told my sister, let's do it in the Coliseum. That's how many people were there.
Wow.
It was ridiculous, dude. So I'm like, but he dies at 67 years old. I'm like, dude, this guy's some, and people are like, oh, well, God needed an angel. Well, fuck, dude, get one of these other motherfuckers and let him stay on earth and do some shit here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean like that, motherfucker. See, you know what I mean, dude. Take one of these other angels that you got. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, take one of these other angels and just like that, I'll say the kid Sean Farrell. Like Sean Farrell, for instance.
Yes.
Why not take me, dude? I got all these deployments. My kids are old enough to know better. He's a newly married guy.
Yeah.
And I do one even harsh, man. What about all these little kids we got 3-4 years old? Don't even know what life is, and you're fucking giving them cancer.
Yeah.
That's a
no.
cruel motherfucker, dude. Like, me
It's
and Will had
hard.
some conversations. I told my mom when I died, dude, because my mom slapped the shit out of me. My first time my mom ever hit me, dude, she slapped the fuck out of me. That army got you crazy. You need to get you getting out of that thing right now. I said, Mom, it don't work like that. Yeah, you are. Who do I need to call? I was like, I don't know who you think you can call, but I can't get out of the army like that. She was pissed. But
Yeah.
that's what I told her. I was like, God's cruel. He's a cruel fuck. Like, if you can take a
'Cause of what
child,
you've seen. Yeah.
from what I've seen, but if you can take a child, even a child now born with cancer, don't know what life is, dude, but you give them cancer at the day they're born? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah, it's something,
But
it's something I struggle with too.
but
Yeah.
you let these not religious, but you let these fucking drug addicts, you let these people that are detriment to society, they're raping, you know, they're killing people. They're doing all the wrong things. Those motherfuckers let it be 90 years old, man. And guess who are taking care of me and you because they put them in a fucking home?
And what if it? And this is what I go back and forth with it on that. What if our life, what's long to us, you know, 100-year life or something like that, is
Mhm.
actually, and this is actually most likely true, this part at least, is actually just the smallest little blip on the radar. That's just this one moment of consciousness, such that, you know, someone lives 100 years versus 50. It's, in the grand scheme of things, it's like nothing, because it's some sort of mental test for all of us. And there's examples that are made for people who will be rewarded in some sort of afterlife or a dimension even
Mhm.
beyond this. You ever think about that?
I do, but I think if I was God, that's not fair to the people, though.
Mm.
You mean, and they say God is a fair, just God. Then how can you be fair and just? If you're going to be fair and just, I'd rather you be, just like I used to tell the team sergeant, I'd rather you be a hard-ass team sergeant that's going to be hard on every swinging dick on this team than to give favoritism and say, well, I like Johnny because Johnny's a better shooter.
Right.
And I like Julian because he's a better runner.
Yeah.
But I don't like Alexi over there because, you know, he can't speak his language. That's bullshit, dude. You got to have, God, in my opinion, he's got to have a standard. Whatever that standard is. Now, if somebody's name is called or their number's picked, then their number's picked. But if they're on earth to do a certain job, then let them do that job. But you can't, I don't think he should be allowed, well, he's God, he do what the fuck he want to do. But I don't think he should be allowed to say, hey, Johnny Glenn, I'm going to let you walk and live, but I'm going to take Sean Farrell's life.
But you also still think that I'm just taking your words here, so correct me if I'm wrong. You think that God exists because there are some things that don't make sense as to why you're still here. So obviously, like, he spared you.
I think there's a high power.
Yeah.
That's my new thing now. Like I tell people, I think there's a high power. I don't know if it's God. I don't know if it's Jesus Christ. And I know my aunt and them, if they see this, I'm going to get blessed out and get slapped around and pulled by the ear. And I'm prepared for it.
You
but
gotta
I
be
think,
able to talk about that stuff.
and you should.
Yes.
And just like me, I think there's a high power. Just like when I talk to my preachers and I ask them questions, don't revert back to the Bible. Tell me truths. Don't tell me something I feel like man's written. Show me truths. Give me evidence of truth. Don't tell me, just like when my preacher said, when I asked my preacher about it one day, and this is one of our chaplain, we were talking about it one day, because the chaplain comes and sees us all the time. And I'll pull him aside, like, hey, chaplain, what do you think about this? You know, this happened, and we had to do this. Well, Johnny, you know, it's combat time, da-da-da-da-da. It's during combat. And then one day I asked him, I say, God, chaplain, I got a question. We're fighting over fucking religion. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's exactly what we're fighting for here in Afghanistan, in Iraq. Every war we ever fought. Vietnam, you go to every war we ever fought, it was over religion. And I asked him, I said, God sent his 12 disciples to 12 corners of the world, and he is God. And he said, if whatever I tell you to go do, you go do. Why would they change that? Why would they go to their own agendas? He handpicked those guys.
Yeah.
And he was like, said something. I said, I'll tell you, I'm going to break it down for you one more step. You watch as good as you get, right? He says, yeah, I did. You know what I'm talking about, the movie with Charlie Sheen and Jack Nichols?
I know the.
You want
I know
answers?
the movie. I never saw it.
Okay, well, that movie, another good one to watch. In that movie, Colonel Jessup said that Marine was not supposed to be touched. He was not supposed to be touched.
Oh, wait. A Few Good Men.
Few Good Men, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, what did I say?
You said Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
all white people look alike.
You goddamn right I gave that order!
I'm going back to
Things
my...
that you don't like to talk about late at night when you're at dinner with your fucking family.
I like when he puts back, he goes, I don't know what kind of outfit you running here. I'm going back to my island. I was like, hell yeah. He's like, you will sit down. He's like, what the fuck? Then he's like, then in reality said, he's like, I done fucked up.
Yeah.
I've done that. I'm like, ooh, I done fucked up. Fuck.
Whoops.
Oops. Yeah. But in that movie, when he said, if you gave the order, then why issue the transfer?
Yeah.
You said that he was not supposed to be touched. Then it's the same with God. If you sent your 12 disciples that you handpicked to do what you want to do, why in the fuck would they go out and voice their own word or their own opinion? And that's just question. And they're just valid questions. And that's why I try to tell my mom, like, hey, Mom, I'm not saying that God don't exist. I'm not saying there's not a high power. There's something up there because I'm alive. So I think there is a high power. So at the end of the day, because I don't judge who lives or dies. So at the end of the day, you know, what is that high power and what does it mean? Because I think the Bible, and for me, it's just me questioning the Bible. Because I know there's a high power. There's something. I don't know what it is. Might be throwing his hammer, but it's something. Or Loki and his sword. I don't know. But it's something up there that makes this universe kind of, you know, do its thing or whatever. And then I guess when your time's up, does that just mean your heart just stopped beating or what? What the fuck?
Well, that's the thing. It's like sometimes people want to force you to adhere to these things because that's what gives them peace. And that's fine if that gives you peace, but like...
Don't force it on me.
You shouldn't force it on people because to me, at the end of the day, you know what's good and what's bad.
That is right there. And that's what I told somebody the other day. I go, look here. I told the lady, the young lady that wrote the letter to you, I told her the other day, I said, I'm going to tell you like right here. If I died tomorrow, there's no doubt in my mind. If there's a heaven, I'm in it. And I go, and I've done more.
Think so too.
And I've done more wrong, brother. Look here. The wrong I've done, we'll talk offline. The wrong I've done.
Oh, that's not for
Hey, check this out. The wrong I've done, I probably got a seat in hell, but I'll go to heaven. They keep a cell open for me down there. You mean? Well, I definitely got a seat down there. Like, hey, Johnny, you coming down this week? Next week, I'll be there in the wintertime, bro. I'm tropical. So I definitely got a seat there. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
But I told her I'll definitely go to heaven because, like you said, it's good intentions.
Yes.
Like I have good intentions. You mean like even though some of the shit we've done, like God, this is wrong, but we got to do it.
You think you've left shit better than you found it?
Fuck
overall?
yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, I agree.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it, dude. I know.
Agree.
Just like I had a guy tell me that time when I jumped on that dude that was ripping the kid, dude. I beat him pretty bad, and the guy was like, you know, that's an ROE violation. Dude, if my team guys want to grab me, I'd have beat the fuck out of him too. I go, if you can say that and set that dude, you're a piece of shit. Because if that's an ROE violation, then report it, motherfucker, and I'll go to jail.
Yeah. To me, it's like you do what you do with the information you have, the best you can, and you look in the mirror.
And you live with it.
Yeah.
You
look
live
in the
with it,
mirror.
yeah.
You know what's
And I
good,
can live with that.
You know what's bad. And it's just like that. How much can you balance them different?
Yeah,
Have the
exactly.
good be up here
Yep.
as far as you can. We're all imperfect, but
Yeah.
like that's how, you know, I'm humble enough to know that I don't know.
Yep.
But I do agree with you. I absolutely believe in a higher power. And like if I live my life in ways that are not good and are not leaving things better than I found it overall,
Then you're wrong.
I'm gonna have to answer for
You
that.
got to answer that. Yep, I agree.
And I don't want to have to answer for
Nope,
that.
I agree, brother.
You know?
Just like I try to treat everybody, dude. My parents raised me. My dad raised me. You judge a man off his merit. Period, dude.
Off his merit.
Off his merit.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you and my dad used to say shit, dude. I repeat shit now. My dad used to say, I'm like, he's the smartest man I ever met. You know, up until about 10 years ago, I thought he was dumb as shit, but he's the smartest man I ever met. I ain't gonna lie. That motherfucker was wicked smart, dude. He was wicked smart. Now that I know now what he was saying.
Yeah.
But my dad used to always tell me, a man that had been his back can never go hungry. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
And as a kid, dude, you don't know what the fuck that mean. Go in, we be digging fence posts. I grew up on a farm. Bend your back. I was like, that ain't got nothing. That ain't my back hurt. You ain't got a back, you got a gristle. And as a kid, you don't know any better. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I got a back. Now that I know, I got a spine and a vertebrae. And what he was telling me was, a man that'll bend his back is a man that'll work. And a man that'll work will never go hungry. Because if you work, you'll make money, you can feed your family. And at the times, dude, like I didn't fucking know what the fuck he meant. Just like he'd always say, there's nothing more greater than a man that can feed his family. He said, when you start putting food on your family table, watch how that makes you feel as a man. And I used to always get mad because my mom and dad, every weekend, we were feeding somebody. feeding somebody, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, just get these people away from my house. You know what I mean? I hate these fucking people. But then at the end of the day, I see now what he meant because I tell people I'm almost cursed because I do the same shit, dude. Like, I feed people. I try to be there for people. I try to help people. And I tell my auntie all the time, it's a fucking curse, dude. Because that's instilled in me. I can't get rid of it. Like, if I see something, dude, I just had a homeless guy the other day. I told that motherfucker, I will not give you money to buy drugs. But any restaurant you pick, let's go eat and we can share a story. And I go feed him.
Cool.
I go feed him, dude, all the time. Feed him all the time, dude. And that was my
You do
mom.
that a lot?
I do it a lot, dude. I do. If I see somebody homeless, dude, I go buy them food. Because my dad used to always say, and my mom would say, if you can watch somebody eat, if you don't do nothing else to that person, you know they got a full stomach for that day.
Your parents had some bars.
They did, man. They did, dude. They did. And now my kids do. Like, my kids come to my house now. If they're with their mom or my daughter come, or my daughters come, my 2 daughters and my son come to my house, first thing I do is start cooking, dude. They can be like, Dad, we just want to eat. I'm going to cook y'all something. Dad, we just say, well, take it with you because I know you got food. And I told my daughter one day, I was like, you have no idea how good you got it. And I went to a school to speak at the school one time. And it was me and, I think I took Lauren, my youngest, because she's like my mini-me. She's just like me. But I took Lauren and I was asking the kids what their favorite subject was. And this one kid raised his hand, I'll never forget. And I can read people. And I go, what's your favorite subject? And everybody's like, math, English. He said, I like lunch. And one of the kids was like, yeah, of course you do, because the kid was a little heavy set. I looked at Lauren, I said, you know that kid ain't eating at home. She goes, why you say that, Dad? I said, because the only meal he's getting is at this fucking school during school. Because I asked him who all loves school. He loves school. But he had the worst grades in the class. But I told Lauren, school to him was an outlet. And he grew up he was in the ghetto, in the inner city. Yeah. I told Lauren, that kid's probably raising himself. And I pulled the kid aside, like, hey, do you need anything? Let me know. And I stayed in contact with him until he was about 14, 15 years old. Like a mentor to him. Good kid.
Wow,
man.
That's really cool.
And then they moved away. And I lost contact with him. So, but that kid.
Well, while he's here, you're making your impact.
That's cool. But I knew that kid, dude. I knew he wasn't eating at school. Just the way he's like, oh, I like lunch. And everybody. Then he's like, oh, I was just joking. He's making a joke. And I'm looking at him like, no, he's not. In my head, I'm like, no, he's not. Like, his favorite fucking subject was lunch. Because he knew when he got to school, he got breakfast and he got lunch. That was a fucking 2 meals for him. All he had to do is make it through the rest of the day. And he got breakfast again. Well, and that's going on every day. And I told my girls, that happens every day in our world.
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, even within this country where we have it the best,
it's sad,
right?
dude.
There's 350 million people here, you know, and we got places that have it better than others. And it's like, even when you grow up and you're like, oh, you know, we're not wealthy or whatever. My parents both, maybe my dad works 2 jobs or something like that. But like, you got food on the table every night. Roof over your head. Great family. Yep. A good community. Man, like that's wealth right there.
Bro, they're doing a special on on this run we're doing, and they picked me as one of the runners, so I'm bringing them back to my hometown.
Yeah, it's really cool you're doing this, by the way. 3,200 miles, you're trying to do it in how many days? 15
to 17 days.
So you're trying to do like 60-some miles a day.
64 miles a day per team.
Fucking Forrest Gump over here.
It's going to be good. You got to watch it. It's going around. It's being pretty big, but they're doing a special and they wanted to do a special on me. They was like, oh, we'll come to North Carolina. I was like, no, Dave, if you do it on me, I want you to go to Bainbridge because that's where I'm from.
Go to where?
Bainbridge. It's called Bainbridge, Georgia. It's right next to Tallahassee, Florida. And I told Carrie from told Carrie and his wife Dre. I always get them mixed up because his name should be Dre, her name should be Carrie. But Carrie and Dre, I told him that, hey, if we do it, let's do it where I'm from because I want kids to know there that I came from nothing. Yeah. And look where I ended up. I'm not better than anybody, but look where I ended up. So don't let where you're from determine where you go. Yeah. Because it's a small town. It's a farm town, dude. And it's you either farm, factory, drugs. That was it. Those are the 3.
You talk a lot about environment. You've talked about that a lot today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But, you know, the other factor is also I look at like what you're born with too, and like you're clearly born like you're an alpha, obviously, but like you're born with I'm gonna go fucking get this done. Ain't nobody doing it for me. And yes, do I think a big piece of that has to come from your environment and great parents and shit like that? Yep. For sure. Yep. But like you ever wonder if there's like some people who their internal biology, you know, they need a way bigger push because they're not naturally wired like that.
Yeah. That'd be, I ain't gonna say necessarily introverts, but that would be more like your introverts. Like, I'm just going to stay to myself. Yeah. I'm not going to do anything. And they just don't have that push. So they end up, I think, people like that you're talking about, especially if they grew up in an environment where there's a lot of drugs and shit, they're easily influenced to come over to that side.
Yes.
Because now, guess what, guy? You ain't got no money? Let me put a little money in your pocket. Let me recruit you. Let me do this. Let me do that. And then before you know it, you're selling drugs because now you're the man because you got money in your pocket.
But also, when you get, that's the thing though. The other side of that is when some of these kids get recruited at like 9 years old to be the kid running from one block to the other. I was an idiot when I was 21.
Yeah.
You know, 24.
And at 9 years old,
You're
you're definitely an
9.
idiot.
You don't even know what the fucking sky's
Yeah,
up.
you don't even know what you're doing.
You know, like I don't know any internal biology that can stop something like that if your environment's completely dictating something as extreme as that, right? Just like the kid who went up and stabbed your friend in the throat. That's a horrible
He had no
thing.
idea.
What's he, like 7 years old? He doesn't know what's going on.
He has a clue.
I'm
And they probably
not
told him,
defending
like,
that, obviously,
yeah, but they probably told him, no, me neither, but I would
Right.
defend the kid because
Yeah.
he's a kid. They probably told him, like, hey, you're going to be da-da-da-da-da, we're going to do this for your family. He's like, oh, cool, you doing that for my family? It's just like a video game. Just do this. He don't fucking know any better, dude.
No clue.
Not a clue. Brainwashed.
Yeah.
It's all about that top behavior. But once you get a certain age, I do believe, like you said earlier, you know right from wrong. But then at that point, it's almost like, are you too far gone to bring you back?
Yeah.
Because at that point, you think about it. If a kid grows up in the inner city or where I grew up, doesn't matter. If you did drugs your whole life, you sold drugs your whole life, you get 14, 15, 16, you know right from wrong now. And guess what? You thought you could stop selling drugs, but you're the man of the house. Say you go to Lowe's and try to get a job and they tell you you're not old enough. What do? You know for a fact I can go back on the street and sell drugs.
Make a lot more money.
And I can make a lot more money. You know, it's one of those things where, and I look at all these, I don't know, that's a whole nother ball of wax. I'm glad you just let me ramble. But
I love it. You're great.
But that's a whole nother thing, man. Like when I look at, as a young black male, I'm not racist whatsoever, but as a young black male, what I say is that all these celebrities, all these sports superstars, all these Michael Jordans, LeBron James, all these guys, and I'm not saying they don't do, but I'm like, dude, what are you doing for the communities? What are you doing for them? And I'm not trying to call nobody out. I don't want nobody to see, oh, fuck, I do this, I do that. But I know I used to watch, when I did watch TV, I would see Shaq a lot on Christmas. Shaq would go out on his fucking own, dude. Yeah. On his own, rent a car and go buy shit and drop it off. He don't want no cameras. This is what I'm doing.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Just like I told somebody the other day, if I hit the lottery tomorrow, dude, the shit I would do for people, nobody never know it. I don't want no fucking praise. Don't put my name on it. Just let me talk shit on the golf course. Let me be me and just let me talk shit to people. I don't need you to know what I'm doing for somebody. You know what I mean?
The same way, man.
It don't, because you don't have to, just like with that podcast. I started that podcast because I told my sister, my daughter, how can I help people now that I'm out of the military? And believe it or not, that podcast helped me more than it helped anybody. Because I got to talk to people and realize that, you know what, dude, we're all going through some shit.
Yeah.
I'm going through a divorce right now. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't going the way I planned. You know, I'm Johnny motherfucking Glenn. I got something I can't fix. Holy shit, that ain't like me, dude. I can fix anything. No, dude, you can't fix every fucking thing. You can try. You can do your best.
What woke you up to realize that? It seems like you survived for 20 years because you lived that. I'm Johnny motherfucking Glenn. I can fix anything.
Honestly, dude, when that guy told me, you ain't shit. When that guy told me that, dude, it brought me down to a size of like, I ain't shit.
The
dude.
psychiatrist.
Like, yeah, when the psychiatrist told me that, dude, that brought me the fuck down, dude. It made me realize that, and I hate to say it like this, I was a fucking number, dude. Like in third group, and I'm not tooting my horn, and I don't want nobody to think I'm bragging, but I was a fucking man there, dude. I walk in a place, there's Johnny motherfucking Glenn. There's Johnny motherfucking Glenn. If we did something, I'm going to be in the top 2 or 3. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. If not the first one. Anything we did. The 2 teams I was on in group, I was on the same 2 teams for 21 years. That in itself says a lot.
Yeah.
So if I'm only on 2 teams in 21 years, that says a lot. A lot. And for me to have that reputation, dude, I lived off of that. I banked off of that, dude. Like, that reputation got me promoted. That reputation got me get on the teams I wanted to be on, the 2 teams I was on. It got us the missions we wanted. Hey, sir, what mission is that? You know you want on that. All right, Johnny, y'all got it. Because you know we're going to succeed. We're not going to fail. And so when I get out of the military, and I try to tell my exes, I get out of the military, dude, I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, dude, like, I'm getting out of the military. What the fuck am I going to do? The biggest thing to me, the scariest thing to me was, what was I going to do for work? This is the only job I have for 23 years.
Yeah, you don't know anything else.
I don't know anything else. And then I'm like, dude, they ain't hiring a bunch of fucking mercenaries. If you want to look at it honestly, like, all right, dude, you can shoot good. You can do a lot of that shit. You're in great shape. Like, I ain't going to work for the police department. I'd been arrested in about 3 days. I thought I slapped some fucking kid around. Hey, you can't do that here. Do what? That. I'm like, fuck.
Damn it.
Damn it. And so Dude, it hit me, man, when he said that. You
Yeah.
ain't shit. You're just a man, dude. You ain't shit. Leave that reputation at the door.
Do you miss having your parents there to
I did.
maybe help you with that?
I did, dude. Because when I was going, it was crazy, man. I lost my mom December 18th. I was going through a fucking divorce. My dad was dying right underneath me. I didn't even see it, dude. Because I was so, and I'm a man of fucking situational awareness. I was so dialed in on my mom, dude. Like, God, I got it. Mom, you can. And they said she had pneumonia. I think she had COVID. They just hadn't called it COVID then. Just the way when I saw people that got sick on COVID, she had all those symptoms. And it could have been pneumonia, I don't know. But anyways, but
When
I was
did she
so,
die again? Your mom?
2018, December of 2018,
So this is before COVID.
before COVID.
Yeah.
But looking at her symptoms, I think COVID was around then. It just
You
had,
do.
fuck yeah. I just don't
Okay.
think it took off the way.
Interesting.
Yep,
Okay.
I sure do. Because it was in the 18.
But
I
they
think
were
COVID.
trying to say pneumonia.
They said pneumonia. I was like, nah, ain't no fucking way. She was too strong of a woman to die from pneumonia, I think.
Yeah.
She was strong and then went down one day. In 2 days, dude, she was done. And so I stayed for 2 days, man. I'm just focused on her. And my dad was having heart problems. And then once she passed, dude, I was still, like focused on my mom. And then, I realized my dad was sick. By the time we realized, me and my sister, my little brother realized he was sick, dude, he had pretty much gave up at that point. He was like, I want to go be with your mom.
Broken heart.
He's broken heart syndrome, yeah. I remember I went to the hospital. I thought I was going to get arrested. The doc came in and he goes, well, I just think you got broken heart syndrome. He laughed. I go, Doc, now ain't the fucking time to laugh. And he goes, no, it's a thing. It's a thing. He can get over this. It's a thing. But the way he said it to me like he was like,
Lighthearted.
like, hey, Johnny, it's just broken heart syndrome. You okay? Da, 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 da. And this dude's been my dad's doctor for 30 years. Great guy. And I went back and apologized to him because I fucking lost it. I came unglued. I was like, Doc, I don't know if you know what broken heart syndrome is, but you know what a fucking broken neck is. And me and you both, like, it's about, and my dad's sitting there doing it. He's just not doing well.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was all emotions, dude. It wasn't me. It was just all like, dude, my dad's sick. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. You running tests, you can't tell me nothing. And he goes, yeah, it's broken heart syndrome. I'm pretty damn sure of it, Doc. And that's what he told me.
You got away with words in
Yeah,
these situations. I will tell you that.
Yeah, and then 2 months
You
later.
can make morbid situations. You got us laughing.
Yeah, I
Two
know
of us.
that. I know that. He was, in 2 weeks, 2 months later, he was dead, dude. He was done. And I remember I went to fuck off on his deathbed, dude. I was like, you're a selfish fuck. You got great. That's exactly what I said to him, dude. And my dad's about 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", 240, but my mom's like 5', nothing. So I kind of got fucked. Like, he's up here, she was down here. I'm like in between.
You were yelling at him?
Hell yeah, dude. He was on his deathbed. I was good. I was like, hey. I was like, you've been a selfish fuck, dude. Get out of that bed. You should be living for us.
What's he like leaning up?
What he said to me was, no, you know what he said? No, you know what he said? He said, first thing he looked at me, he looked up, he goes, first off. And my dad had like a bare white tone to his voice, not quite that deep, but kind of like a deep voice. He's first off, watch your fucking mouth. And right then do my whole demeanor, like, just deflated. And I go, yes, sir. He goes, second off, who's really being selfish? I want to go be the woman I live and you want me to stay here. I'd say you're pretty damn selfish. And that's exactly what he said to me, dude. And I said, yes, sir. And I hugged him. And I left the room, cried like a baby, dude. Came back in the room, got my shit together, came back in the room. And I just sat there, talked to him. We held hands. And I think that next day he was gone, dude. And the doctor said he was supposed to get an LVAD surgery, which is a left ventricle assist device. And the doctor told me he had did 15 of those surgeries. Out of the 15, everybody had lived at least 10 to 12 years, at least. So I'm telling my dad all this shit the night before, like, look, man, you can get this thing, yada, yada. And I went in there that morning. The doc told me, he said, hey, what happened to your dad last night? I go, no, why, what's up? He goes, I've never in my life seen somebody shut down every one of their major organs. He just lost the will to live, man. And that's when I went in there yelling, like, you being fucking selfish, da, da, da. Like, the doc said, your kidneys fucked up, nothing's working. They just did blood work on the day before. All he had to do is make it those 12 hours with everything, with this, maintaining all his symptoms or all of his, like, heartbeat and all that shit. And everything came back good.
Just didn't want it.
He didn't want it, dude. He said he was done. Doc said he'd never seen nothing like it.
That's another weird thing in life. It's like you don't want someone to go. And it's sad that they have to break down like that because their heart's so broken, but they were put in a position in life where they got to have a heart that full to get it broken.
Yeah. Oh, once he passed it and I look back at it, I was like, that's pretty noble for my dad to love my mom that much.
Yeah.
That's a good, that's a
Pretty
beautiful
awesome.
thing. Oh yeah, it was. Now that I'm older, like I like to say now I'm a little more mature. Yeah, it's like an awesome thing now that I can say that was fucking amazing. You know what I mean? That he loved my mom that much. And my dad loved life too. You think I'm funny, dude? That motherfucker sitting there, you be like, we don't even want to talk to you. This dude wasn't even in the military. We just want to talk to him. Dude, he had more fucking stories you could shake a stick at. They just phenomenal guy, dude. Just all over the world, travel the world. He was just that guy, man.
What do you do?
He worked at a place called Amico Fabrics and Fibers. He was an engineer there, and then we had a farm. So he worked out there. And what's crazy is, I probably shouldn't.
Farm too.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but he's dead. Now fuck it. Yeah, yeah, he's dead. Now fuck it. What's he gonna do? Shoot me? You know. And dude, and the first time I found this out, this is no bullshit. Like I'm gonna try to hold back tears, but first time I found this out, I think I was 16 or 17. I think I was 16 or 17. But my mom had to work the night shift where she was working at. They worked at the same place. She had to work the night shift that week. She was filling in for something, or they rotated or whatever it was. He was supposed to help me with some homework. And I found out at 16 or 17, my dad couldn't read or write then. But this guy ran a business. I watched him go into banks, dude. Just like me, you sitting there walking a bank, get loaned, whole 9 yards. So if the bank sees it, they can be like, what the fuck? Yeah, dude. Couldn't read or write a little bit.
And you never knew.
Fuck no, I never knew. Nobody knew. Huh? But he knew people. Well, I say could read people, he should have been an SF dude.
Yeah, I think you
That
got
dude
it in
could-
your blood.
Yeah, dude, that dude could walk on. We walked in a bank one time, I won't ever forget this. Because then, you know, when somebody tell you something you didn't know, my brain went to running like, how the fuck did he travel the world? How did he drive in North Carolina? We had no GPS back then. He would follow a map. He couldn't read. You know, how would he do this? How would
It's
he do that?
amazing. You could do all that.
Dude, my dad, well, I say this motherfucker walking a bank. I was about 14 years old. Walked in the bank, I'll never forget this. He was trying to get a loan for chicken houses because we had a farm. He wanted to get chicken houses. And the guys up the street, the Lanes, had just built 4 chicken houses. And my dad was like, if the Lanes are building chicken houses, it's because they making money. I'm building me a fucking chicken house. I'm gonna build 2 of them. And back then, a chicken house would bring you 100 grand. And, you know, 40 years ago, that was a lot of fucking money. 30, 40 years ago, 100 grand was a lot of money. And we walk in the bank, and the lady slid my dad the loan paper. He's sitting there looking at it. And dude, if you told me my dad couldn't read, I would have punched you right in the face. He's doing just like Dre. He said, why am I reading this? Read this, boy. You're going to take it on the family soon. I'm going to die one day. I was like, Dad, don't talk like that. I said, I'm going to die one day. I was about 12, 13 at the time. And I get this thing, right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm reading it to myself. And he was like, read it out loud so I can hear what you're reading. So I start reading it out loud. And then he goes, stop right there. He goes, what'd you just read right there? I said, it says your annual percentage rate is going to be whatever the hell it was, right? And then he says, now, do you understand that? And the lady name is Miss Karen. I'll never forget this. And my dad goes, when people want to be smart, let them be smart. He said, Miss Karen, explain to my son what annual percentage rate is so he'll understand what it means in this context. Because there was something in there he didn't understand. That lady broke that shit down to me and looked at me just like I'm looking at you. He's sitting right there, dude. Broke it down to me like, well, annual percentage rate for a normal bank loan is this, this, and this. But your annual percentage rate for this loan is going to be this because this is the type of loan it is. And then my dad goes, now explain to him because that's because it's agriculture. She goes, yep, because it's agriculture, da-da-da. And he goes, see, when you become a farmer or when you take over what I'm doing, if you get an agricultural loan, because what she just told him, now he can explain it. He's explaining that to me. And dude, I'm sitting there, and after he told me that shit, I was dumbfounded.
Genius. Yeah.
He's a people genius, dude. I was fucking dumbfounded when he told me that. I remember me and him sat there and cried all day, man. We cried all fucking night, dude. And he goes, why do you think I'm so hard on you in school? Dude, when you if I brought a C or D in my house, my dad tore my ass up. He didn't play that shit, dude. It was 8 honor roll till I got to about 10th, 11th grade. And then I started seeing girls and playing sports. And I was like, fuck it, he can't catch me. Fuck it. You know, he didn't get old, now I'm fast.
You couldn't
Shit.
tell him that it was really an A if it looked
Yeah.
like a D.
I changed him a couple times, dude, and he found out. Because back then you got numbers.
That's the one thing you maybe could pull on him.
Oh, yeah, dude. So back then they had like 73s. Oh, that's a 93 all day long, dude. 72s. Only one I couldn't master that fucking 8, dude. You couldn't fuck with that 8, but a 4, I can make a nice 9 out of 4. Or 3, I can make it an 8. Couldn't and them 7s, them was 9 all day longs and 1s. Done. But if I got an 8, I'm like, motherfucker, Miss Green, can you just give me a 78? I'll make that bitch a 98. She's no, you got an 88. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, my
Can't
God.
change it. But yeah, dude. So he was real big on me. Just, and then one thing they taught me, man, just never quit, never give up, dude. Like always, just, you know, like, and don't let nobody determine your fate, your outcome. You determine that. And so I've always put myself in a position where I determine that, just like in the military. You know what I mean, dude? Like I was the worst leader in the military, even though my guys loved me, but I cared about my guys. But dude, I was
So why were you worst leader?
never on time, dude. Always out of uniform. Just fucked up, dude. Like I tell people all the time, if I'd have stayed in the regular army, I'd have got kicked out. No doubt in my mind, dude. No doubt, mama. You heard what I told my commander, sir. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I know I got it. Like, and I wasn't cocky. It's just like, I know I got it. Like, fuck it, dude. Let's do it, you know? And I've always been confident in myself. You know what I mean? Like, you give me a task, I'm going to complete that task. I'm going to make it fucking happen.
Well, that's what they want.
And that's what they want.
Level. That's
what they want. That's exactly what they want, dude.
They want the, not, how
that
are
confidence.
we doing this? We fucking got it.
How we got it done. That's it. And and I've always been that person. Like, hey, let's make it happen. Just like this whole race we're getting ready to do, dude. It's like, hey, how do we make this happen? You mean, because we're going to make it happen one way or the other. I mean,
I believe you.
So, oh yeah, it's going to happen.
When did you get out again? What year?
It was December 20 something of 2017. So I always just say 2018.
Okay. So like a year before your mom dies.
Yep.
Something like that. And
actually, she's in a hospital. Actually, she's in a hospital and dies pretty much. No. Yeah. She's in a hospital when I'm getting out.
So 18.
She died 2017, December 2017, right before I got out. Because I was actually going through the divorce. Or did I get out in 18? No, I got out in 18. I'm all fucked up. 2018, I got out because she died in 2018. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my dad died 4 months after her.
So you're going through the divorce right when you get out?
Check this out. I'm getting out of the military. I'm going through the divorce, and my mom's on a deathbed, dude.
Jesus,
that's
a
terrible.
lot to deal with. Where did that? So, because we talked about your relationship earlier, but like you were married all the years that you were in, and you were saying, you know, it was good because you'd be away long enough that she'd want you back, and then
home long enough
just to piss her off.
Yep.
But like was it kind of fomenting a divorce at the end, like before you officially get out? Was there something?
Yeah, I would say there was a little something there because I realized I was about to get out. Because, you know, you usually get about a year or 2 years before you get out. With us, it's a little different. And I was medically boarded out. So once the medical came back, it was like, hey, dude, you're 100% disability, yada, yada, yada. You can get out of the military. And they did offer me 3rd Special Forces Group, Scott Granowski, love that guy to death. And all my leadership, dude, they offered me positions, bro. Like, they were trying to keep me in. Hey, Johnny, you're going to be CCW of 3rd Special Forces Group. You can still move up in the ranks and all that shit, which that stuff never mattered to me. What mattered to me was the job. And when they sat me down and Doc was like, hey, you know, you got 2 cracks in your frontal lobe. You got this going on with your vestibular. You got all kinds of shit right now. We got to figure out. You're non-deployable. When they said that, dude, that was, to me, that was like, yeah, I'm retired.
Yeah.
You know, because I'll be damned if I'm finna get out, watch my guys get on a plane, leave and go. And then I'm stuck back here just twiddling my fucking thumbs. When I know I'm still physically fit to do it, it's just all the shit that was going on in my head, my brain, the skull and shit. And then my team actually ended up deploying, and Kyle Warren, our medic, got killed. And after that, dude, it's like, all right, man, I'm retiring. I'm done. I'm cutting ties. I'm leaving on a.
And your head's not in a great place, obviously.
It wasn't in a good place at the time, man. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm done, dude. I'm like, I'm leaving at the top of my game. For the most part, I called all my shots, where I was going, what I was doing, what my team was doing. Always fighting for my guys. So it's like, hey, I'm going out on top. I'm not going to go out fucking working at a staff job. They're like, no, man, we'll give you this job, Johnny. Then you'll go back to the schoolhouse. You can go be the commandant at the schoolhouse. Then you'll come back here. You can work at the battalion. I'm like, nah, dude. Johnny motherfucking Glenn ain't built like that. Because, you know, it's a young man's game. So when I was in group and I saw when I was younger and I saw the older guys, I look at that old broke motherfucker. He'll never deploy no more. Like, why are you even here? You know, cracking jokes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to be that fucking guy, dude. These young motherfuckers are, why don't you deploy no more? I was like, nah, fuck that, dude. So I cut ties, man. What's crazy is nobody in the unit, maybe 1 or 2 guys knew I'd fucking deployed. I meant retired.
Oh, you didn't tell them?
I ain't tell nobody, dude. I ain't do a retire ceremony or nothing, man. And I kicked myself in the ass now.
He's gone.
Yeah, they were like, they thought I went to the schoolhouse. Oh, Johnny went to the schoolhouse. Everybody did. Every fucking body did.
Why
Everybody
didn't you
thought
tell
I
anybody?
I was more embarrassed than anything, dude. Like, damn, I'm leaving.
Embarrassed?
Yeah.
You
because
spent
that
21 years.
Yeah, dude, but that place don't work like that, man. I don't give a damn if you do 30 years there. That place is more like, it's like you are your reputation, which is terrible there. Your name there, bro, is what you are.
Yeah,
so
I know, but you did so many
group,
deployments.
It don't matter, dude. If you go to group right now, say you do 10 years in group, and you're Julian the J Bird, he's the man. You're the fucking man, dude. No matter what you do, you are the fucking man there. That's your reputation. If you come there and you're shitbird, you leave there fucking shitbird. And everybody knows that. So once you got that reputation, it ain't you that you're worried about. It's letting those guys down and where your reputation goes. Because that is why you're there, because you don't know any better. I didn't know any better. That was my identity. Just like my son asked me one time, like, Dad, why do they call you Johnny motherfucking Glenn? I was like, I don't know. And then my son actually met one of my interpreters doing some role playing for one of the companies I work for.
Oh, he met one of the interpreters.
One of my interpreters that came
They
back.
called your dad the mother of fuck.
No, exactly. Your daddy's definitely the mother of fuck. So this is a whole nother story. Haruna, dude, is one of my fucking, dude, you look like he's 21. Fight his ass off. Just a fighter. Been fighting since he was like 8. Good fighter. Well, he was doing some role playing out of Oak Grove in North Carolina. My son was doing some role playing. I hired him to go do some role playing. He's making like $400 a day. And all they're doing is firefight. I'm like, hey, you have a good time. This shit I've been teaching you. It's like, all right, cool. So they reading off the roster. And when I realized my son, happy daddy moment, he told me, Daddy, don't tell nobody I'm your son. I want to pay my own way. I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's what's up. I won't say shit. Cool. So when they read the name off, they was like, Tyler Glenn. And of course, Haruna, he's sharp. He looks at Glenn. All right, cool. So he just stared at him the whole time. He just kept staring at Tyler. My son favored me. He's about my height, about favored me. And Haruna walked up to him and said, hey, what's your dad's name? And he's like, excuse me? He said, what's your dad's name? And my son goes, why? And he goes, Daddy, the way he looked at me, he's like, my dad done whooped this dude's ass. I guarantee you my dad done smacked this dude around. Because he was Afghan. He introduced himself as an Afghan interpreter. And Tyler said, Daddy, I was ready to fight him for you. Because he's like, I know my dad did something to this dude. And he heard my last name. And Tyler goes, my dad, and then he goes, and Tyler, big kid, he's a baseball player. He goes, my dad's name's Johnny motherfucking Glenn. His dad, I pumped my chest out. So my dad's name's Johnny motherfucking Glenn. Why? And he goes, Daddy, he just grabbed me and he started squeezing me and hugged me. And he's like, put me down, man. He put him down. So Tyler called me that day and he's like, hey, can you tell this guy to leave me the hell alone? Dude, Haruna was cooking his meals for him, everything. Because me and this kid's been in a, I ain't tell how many firefights he got. Dude, I fought with Haruna for 8-9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so for him to meet my son like that, dude, it was
Shoulder
pretty,
to shoulder.
yeah, I'm talking shoulder to shoulder, dude. Yeah. He's been there when our guys got shot, dude, and working on them.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, shit. He's one of us at that point, you know what I mean? And for him to meet my son like that, dude, it was pretty fun.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, dude. So then, you know, son got to meet Haruna and got to hear who Johnny motherfucking Glenn was. And then he kind of told him the story. I texted him. I said, hey, man, don't be telling my son this shit, man. What's wrong with you? He's like, we just out here doing some outboard playing, man, sharing some stories. I was like, nah, man, don't tell my kid that. But when all that shit that was going on, mentally, bro, I was in a bad place, man, mentally. And I wasn't in a bad place where I wanted to hurt myself or hurt somebody. I was in a bad place where I just didn't know my identity. Or I take it back.
You lost your...
There you go. I lost my way.
Yeah.
I lost the fact that, holy shit, dude, I've been doing this for 20-something fucking years. On an ODA the whole fucking time, which, no. Next Green Beret you bring here, ask them how many times they went to Swick to the schoolhouse. I bet you every one of them been once, twice, or 3 times. Ask Johnny Glenn how many times he went to Swick.
0. Yeah.
Ask him how many times you ever did an instructor job at the schoolhouse.
0. Yeah.
That's how many times you stayed on an ODA this whole fucking time, dude. Unheard of. So when you leave that to go back to like, now I'm going home, and I remember the day they were like, the doc was like, well, you can medically retire, you can talk to your unit and stay in. I was driving home that day, dude. I was doing like 30 miles an hour. Just my head was like, the fuck am I gonna do, dude? Because you don't plan to get out, you know. Our guys don't. Regular Army guys, they plan for that shit because they got a job that's gonna put them into a good job. For us, dude, it's like, I'm gonna do this shit till I die.
Yeah.
That's your mentality. So I didn't have a plan. For once, I didn't have a plan because it wasn't a mission for me. This is my way of life. I don't need a plan. I'm gonna do this shit till I die. So I drove home, man. I got home, dude, and it was fucking, I remember I walked in the house and Sadie had told me that day, I asked her to cook me something. Might have been gumbo. She's from Louisiana. And she had told me to stop by the grocery store and get something. And I get home about 7 o'clock. I walk in the house. I remember I'm unlocking the door, dude, and I just feel like the biggest shit bag. I remember I open the door and I walk in the house. She's like, hey, did you get such and such? I'm like, what? She's like, did you get such and such? I was like, no, I totally forgot. And she's like, why did you get it? What? How am I supposed to make this? And she starts like, I'm trying to make this for you. How did I? And I just fucking snapped, dude. I was like, why the fuck are you yelling at me? I don't give a fuck about da-da-da. And I just snapped, bro. Went off. And then for the next 2 months, she said, and my kids said, I would come in the house and I would stay until we had a media room. First, you walk in the room, you take a right. There's a big media room where we watch movies and shit. And she said, I would walk in there, walk in the house, I would go in that room, and I would just sit there and stare at the wall. And the sad part about it is, I don't remember none of that shit, man. Only thing I remember, my daughter came in and asked me one day, Daddy, what's wrong with you? Why are you so sad? That's all I fucking remember. And that was Lauren, my mini-me.
What do you think that was due to just you being at a frozen point in your life? Or do you think that's actually PTSD manifesting itself?
I don't think it was PTSD. I think it was more of like me just not having an answer, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know up from down, left from right. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, man, I'm just going to let them make the decisions for me. And I've never had that. I've never had somebody say, all right, Johnny, this is what we're going to do for you, and this is how you're going to do it. I've never had that. I'm like, hey, sir, this is where I want to go. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to do this. All right, cool. Hey, sir, I'm taking the team here. All right, cool. Hey, John, we got a mission. You team want this? Yep, we'll take it. You know, and you get things like that. And it's like, all right, cool. So your whole fucking career, dude, I've stared at that fucking ship. Now all of a sudden I have no control. I'm turning it, but that motherfucker's going straight ahead.
And you felt like you couldn't talk to your wife about it.
I felt like I didn't talk to nobody about it. Dude. I didn't talk to nobody about it because I didn't really know what to say. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't, and first week or so I went to go see the shrink. First month I talked to shrink. I just didn't know what to tell him. I'm like, Doc, I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. He said, yeah, it's going to feel like that because you don't. He said, well, once in your life, it ain't you being a Green Beret that's tackling Green Beret shit. Now you're tackling, which is simple stuff to you, but I'm tackling real life shit. Paying my mortgage. How am I going to do that? Getting out of the military. Man, I got to do a resume. How the fuck you do a resume? You know, just little things like that I've never crossed my mind to that point, dude. Like, do we need to move? What do you mean I got to do a PCS move? How the fuck you do that? Never did a fucking PCS move. I've never PCS in my life, dude.
Yeah.
Except for that one time when I was 19 years old and they did it for me. I was a private. But now you tell me I got to move all my household goods. What do you mean move my household goods? I'm not going anywhere. Okay, then you got to go talk to them people over there about you staying here and this. You can put your stuff. You can go back to your home of records. Fucking overwhelming, dude. I was like, holy fuck. I can control fires. I can control men in combat. You mean tell me
Paperwork?
I can't piece of paperwork is not for me. I can't even fucking. I don't even know how to do. What do I do about life insurance? What do I do about medical, dental? All I do is a fucking whirlwind and just trying to figure that shit out. And I'm like, fuck, man. I gotta find an answer somewhere.
But I think also a part of it is like your mind is used to chaos.
Oh yeah, it was.
And it's like
now I got to be organized.
this is a different kind of chaos,
Yep.
but it's not.
I can't control
There's
it.
no stakes, and you
Yeah,
can't control it.
I can't control it, and not even control it. I just couldn't even. I couldn't even do like in a firefight, dude. If you show me if I can hear where the bullets are coming from, I can tell you where they're firing from. I can tell you probably where they're gonna move to. I can tell you probably where we need to be. I can tell you where I'm gonna start maneuvering my element to. With this shit right here, dude, it was just like, woof. I'm like, oh shit, what about health insurance? What the fuck? What the hell is that? I never had to worry about that. I'm health insurance through the military. Holy shit, dude. What do you mean a mortgage payment? What do you mean I'm not gonna get paid for potentially 3-4 months until my VA and disability kick in? What am I supposed to do then? How are we supposed to pay the bills? It was just fucking. It was spiraling, dude. And then one day I was just like, all right, I get my fucking shit together, dude. And then I just went to the shrink and I go, all right, dude, what do I need to get my shit together? He was like, hey, man, you just got to fucking take it one day at a time and figure out what you want to do.
But you felt like your marriage wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it
going to work.
Yeah, well, we tried to work on it, dude. Like, I wanted it to work. Once I realized I had the issues and I had to fix me, I told her, like, hey, I'm fixing me and I love for our marriage to work. And at that point, dude, I think the damage was done. Yeah. Like, she saw a side of me that she didn't like and she probably never wanted to see again. Like, never had I ever yelled or cursed at her like that. And she was like, oh, fuck no. Like, nope, you're crazy. It's like, no, I'm not crazy. I just got shit going on. Let me fix it. Then, of course, I start fixing me. And then she would do things, I think, just to see, like, is he changing or is he still upset about getting out of the military? And then I think what really hurt her was when I went to her, I told her, like, hey, I got a lot of shit going on. She said, what do you mean you got a lot of shit going on? And my exact words were, I'm about to get out of the military and lose the team. And dude, she fucking came unglued, bro. Like, she was acting like I was acting.
Oh, because it's like you're slighting her.
Exactly. For her, it was like, oh,
That's how
they
she
mean
took it.
more to you than your fucking family mean to you, motherfucker. I've been waiting for you to stop where we can now start living and we can start going on vacation. That was her exact words. We should be living now, going on vacation, doing shit. I got a great job. You're retiring. We should be actually going to do shit. I'm like, yeah, but the guys, you know, she was like, what? And dude, I think that was like a slight kick in the face, man. Like, or a slight kick in the junk. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, where are we at on your fucking priority poll? Yeah. And I was like, no, I love my family, but this is how I provide for y'all. Now it looks like I'm tap dancing. Yeah. I'm like, you know, I stay in the military. I make more rank. We make more money. We do shit. She's like,
Well,
yeah,
you
whatever.
always had those two worlds. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You'd be on and off, on and off, on
And it's
off.
hard to lose. But now I'm losing that one world, going to just one world.
Yeah.
And it just fucking, and knowing that I wasn't coming back, it'd be different. It's like, hey, dude, go heal, come back, you're good. But it's like, nah, dude, like, you can't risk hitting your fucking dome again. You know, not until. Yeah. And I get it. You know what I mean? You're a detriment now. Yeah. I was like, fuck. And at the time, I didn't get it. And I remember I told my command, on my worst day, I'm better than the best fucking operator you got. My worst day. You know, now I'm like Johnny motherfucking Glenn. Now I'm finna talk shit. You know, you're like, fuck that. That shit ain't happening. But nah, dude, it's like, and I had a good commander, man. Actually, Mike Sullivan, he's the same guy. He's in charge of RWB now. So shout out to Mike, dude. He kind of picked up on, like, Johnny ain't sharp right now, dude. What the fuck's going on with him? And
you need people like that.
yeah, it was,
be
dude.
able to-
I tell people all the time, man, he play it down, but he definitely saved my life, dude, because I was still trying to operate, bro. And I was blacking out. I'd stand up real fast, dude. The whole fucking room be spinning. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because my brain apparently hadn't redocked itself from the IED. I had 2 cracks in the frontal lobe that I didn't know about. It was pretty fucked up, dude.
When was the IED again?
2017? No, 2015.
And where was that?
And we were going through, we were on the other side of Fire Base Robinson. Yep. High IED heaven.
Mm.
Yep. And I'm still trying to stay in
remember
the
it?
fight. All I remember that morning, man, I remember this that morning. I told the team, I walked by, I said, hey, put your helmets on today. We're hitting the fucking IED and make sure you got your underwear on. That's exactly what I said. I went and got in my truck. One of my guys was like, don't say that. I said, I've hit a few of these motherfuckers. Got that feeling. It wasn't 30 minutes later, dude. I was fucking in the truck going, what the fuck? And it was just black and dark and dusty.
Mm.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Fuck. I remember getting on the radio back to Jimmy, like, hey, we're fine. We're going to try to get out of this truck and come to you. But we couldn't open the door. It picked up the MRAP. I don't know if you know what the MRAP is. One of those big ass trucks. Like the ones in the video behind the firefight, that big brown truck.
Oh, yeah.
Weighs about 20,000 pounds.
Yeah.
It threw that motherfucker about 50 yards. Yeah.
Big boy.
Oh, the crater, you could have put this building in it, dude. It's a big boy.
And you survived.
We all walked away.
You
Dude.
didn't lose a limb or anything.
Sean knee got thrown into the dash. It's all metal. It busted his knee up. He was fine. Luke got a big gouge on his forehead, busted his eardrums. The other kid in there, Cody, it fucked up his eardrums. He had he was brain concussed for a while. He's messed up pretty good. So everybody in the truck survived. The truck did what it's supposed to do. Everybody survived, dude. No.
But it certainly rung the bell enough.
Oh,
that
yeah,
the
it
docs
definitely.
are
Oh,
like,
yeah. Doc's like,
that's not
no,
good.
we're going to get this fixed. And then Mike Sullivan again, he was like, hey, I'm sending you to fucking Germany just to get you checked out.
You feel like you're in a good place now?
Oh,
Been
dude,
a few years?
the best place in my life, dude. Right
yeah,
now.
you seem great.
Oh, yeah, dude,
like
right
on and
now.
off camera.
I tell people right now, dude. Now, if I'd have known now, back in 2018, I'd probably still be married. If I'd have known then, if I'd have just accepted the fact, hey, dude, you ain't Johnny motherfucking Glenn no more. You're getting out of fucking military. You ain't in fucking Green Beret no more. You're a fucking now. You're a former action guy. You're exactly what you are. You're I'm getting a t-shirt from me that says former action guy. You're done.
We gotta mark all this.
And so now you're going to be a husband. You're going to be a father. You're going to be a brother. You're going to be an uncle. You can be a cousin. You can be all those things you weren't when you were in the military. You were those things, but you're absent at it. You know, so I was like Father A, Uncle A, you know, Uncle absent, you know. But now, dude, like my nephew's playing sports down in Georgia. I go try to catch, if he's got a basketball game, dude, I'm driving 9 hours, bro. 8 years old. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. Just running around. He touched the ball. He's like, ooh, you see me? I saw you, man. Drove 8 hours for it. On my way home tomorrow. My sister's like, why do you drive down here for this? I was like, because this is shit he's going to remember.
Yeah.
Because this is the shit my dad would have been here for.
Yeah.
And my kids
There you
now,
go.
dude. I'm with my daughter the other day, bought her that stick shift car. She was 21 3 days ago on the 15th. So she's 21 now. My other daughter's 18 or 19. So, and my son's 25, man. So I'm in their lives as much as I possibly can. I try to be cordial and talk to my ex as much as I can, you know. But now, dude, I'm in a place where I know that I realize I was a number. Great reputation there. It's great to come on podcast, share the stories I got. I got some amazing fucking stories that you live through and you're like, holy fuck, dude. But then you realize that there's way more to life than just that life. And that's where I think the military and the VA, they're finally starting to try to get that right. Where the PTSD, you know, if you're a soft guy, you were picked for a reason. They've already checked your mental attitude. They know you're borderline fucking crazy. They know that already. But they also know you can control it. Because I tell people all the time, what scares me all the time, dude, is you take an SF guy, you take a SEAL, you take a Ranger guy that knows what to do with a weapon. He knows how to plan. Can you imagine that motherfucker going rogue?
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine him going into a place, I'm going to shoot up a place? He ain't going in there to just shoot the place up.
Bad
He'll
news.
kill everybody in there before anybody can get a phone call off.
Yeah.
Because he's already jammed the place before he walked in there.
Yeah.
No calls are coming out, no calls are going in. Now he's going to barricade himself in there or he's going to have an out. This is my out right here. So I think about shit like that. So they're starting to get it right in the sense that you got to give guys purpose, man. Purpose is where it is. You got to have purpose. And for me, my purpose now, man, is just trying to make this world a better place than what it was. When, like you said, when I leave it. Because my dad, love my mom and dad to death. They definitely made me and this world a better place when they were in it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, hey, if I leave here and my kids can say, I'm proud my dad did A, B, and C. And, you know, and my friends can say, hey, Johnny Glenn was a loud, annoying motherfucker, but he was there when I needed him. You know, if I do that, dude, I knew that I made an impact on somebody's life, then I'm winning, bro.
I think you're winning.
I think so.
I'm
trying, bro.
You got me ready to run through
I'm
a
trying,
wall.
dude. I'm trying. I'm trying to win.
Yeah, it's
because it's hard.
Listen, like to get to where you're at mentally right now, I know that's quite a journey, and it does seem like you're in a really great place. So
it is. I am.
just keep that shit rolling, and obviously your career, you know, I know you look at it like you're just doing your job and everything, but it's a pretty insane career. You saw some crazy things, did a lot of really courageous stuff, and I think
I
it's
just
really
call it crazy shit. I don't think it's courageous. Let's go run at this building, somebody shooting it. Like I think about it now, I'm like, you're a dumb son of a bitch.
Listen though, I think I love how on a podcast like this we can get kind of like history written out there forever, so people can hear your experience, you know, through your eyes and how you saw it, and you know, some kid can watch this 50 years from now and be like, damn, that's how they had it, huh?
Oh yeah,
you know,
because they'll be fighting that shit on drones.
They might be. It might be past that even at that point.
It's
But
coming.
Exactly.
It's coming.
Exactly. But listen, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes,
man.
sir, brother.
It was
Good
an
time.
absolute pleasure.
Oh fuck yeah, good
All
times,
right.
man.
And
I'll see you next week. Shit,
Yeah,
I didn't forget,
will
dude.
see
Hey,
me.
I'll see him in fucking Boone. I got
I'm
his
a little
number.
scared.
I'm like, hey, where you at, dude? I'm here. Let's shoot. Let's do this. Let's go have some fun, bro.
But we'll have. Is there a way people can support the run across the
Good
country?
call. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that too, man. You got me all flooded talking about my dad and shit. Hey, so everybody looking today. So Team Red, White, and Blue, as we've been saying over the podcast the last few hours, we're running a flag from San Diego, USS Midway to DC.
Mhm.
We're starting May 2nd. We're trying to do it in 17, 19 days. And what we're promoting is veteran wellness and veteran health. And the biggest thing is, I think it's 22, if I'm not mistaken, is 22 veterans a day commit suicide, which is one too many.
Crazy.
And me personally, I can say, I've never thought about killing myself, but I can say I've been in that dark place where it's like, all right, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Am I better off here? Or am I better off just leaving my family, going back to Georgia and not talking to nobody? Hell, I even thought about moving to South Dakota, but I know black people there, they didn't know where I was. But on the real, you can support this by going to Team Red, White, Blue and donate. We got 12 runners. Pick runner Johnny. You want to donate to me. You want to donate to nobody else. I'm selfish like that. Hey, they say it ain't a competition. Bullshit, it's a competition. But no, we're trying to raise $1 million. So what they're doing is, which I like, they're breaking it down for each runner to see what they're raising. So that at the end of it, runners can be like, hey, this is what I raised. This is how much I raised. And then it all goes into one big pot. And right now, we got some amazing sponsors. We got GovX. We got Nike Fitbit. We're all going to wear Fitbits. They're going to track everything. My old battalion commander, Sully, and group commander, he's actually running, or my battalion commander, he's actually going to be running, him and I, JJ. They're setting up like a military operation. You're going to like it, dude. They're setting up, they got this big mobile command center. So you'll be able to see when Johnny's running, what my vitals are, whole night.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, they setting it up so everybody can see it. So and then, a couple other sponsors came through. I can't remember all. I know GovX came through. I just did a thing with them. They got his shoes. And then a lot more sponsors that came through. I think Cat was one. I can't remember Allstate. For whatever reason, Allstate's in my brain. Probably might not even be Allstate. And then we partnered up with UHP, Universal Health and Performance, out in Arkansas. That's where we went and did all our workouts and our trial stuff. And they got phenomenal trainers out there. My boy Matt's out there. And Matt kind of took us in, man, and kind of helped us. He was an SF guy too. He brought the team in because I think I'm the only SF guy. We got a couple Range Battalion guys, and the rest, I think Cole's an SF guy too. But the rest is basically all like regular Army guys, Navy guys, and Marines. And gals. They stuck us all together and like, all right, we're going to put you on a team. And we're just going to go run the flag across America, man. So I want all veterans, prior to, our veterans that are in the military or out of the military now, wherever you're at, if we're running through your town, come support us. Come out
Link in
there.
description below. We'll have that
that's
down
it.
there.
Put it on there.
That's really cool that you're doing that.
It's going to be fun, man. We're trying to do it 3,200 miles or a little over 3,000, between 3,000 and 3,200. Trying to do it in 17 days. We got 4 3-man teams, and we're trying to run about 60 to 64 miles a day.
Good luck,
Non-stop. Flag never stops.
I have no doubt you're going to pull it off.
And so everybody out there watching this, go ahead and start pushing math out. That's moving America forward, because I'm sick of us moving America forward again. I'm sick of us going backwards. I'm gonna keep saying it. Math that shit up. We about to math.
I love it.
That sounds like some good shit.
It's good shit.
I wish I could fart on command because that'd be awesome. We're about to math and then you just fart yourself.
Everybody else, you
Then
know what it
everybody-
is. Give it a thought. Get back
Everybody
to me.
start farting and shit. That'd
Peace.
be awesome.
Thank you guys for watching the episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. They're both a huge, huge help. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below.